rotation.
Let's fucking do it.
That's the goal.
I listened to your first one.
Did
with,
you?
Almost the whole thing.
Bill?
I got with Bill. What's his last name?
Beck.
Bill Beck. Yeah.
And?
It was good, man.
Yeah. Isn't it cool?
It's a lot better than I expected.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if that's a compliment.
No.
We have a soundtrack. We have all kinds of. Can you? Oh, you're not listening.
Oh yeah, you don't have
Hold
that.
up.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
Let me hear it. Hit me with the
Nothing.
hi-hat.
Nothing. Nope. We're not hearing. I'm not hearing any of that.
I hear the intro song.
Do you?
I do. Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, you're switching off me and him and on and off.
Got it. I just monitored for you.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. What now?
Yep. I can hear it now.
I remember my first beer.
Are you gonna clap still?
What camera?
I don't know.
Should I?
Oh, is it on? You recording video too?
Yeah. There's 3 cameras. So one is on me.
Oh, okay.
No, right here. Right here.
Oh, I see. Boom,
That's
boom,
on
boom.
me.
Okay.
Is everything, all cameras good? Do you check all the cameras? Let's
So
record.
you
We're
put.
recording.
We're recording.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Steve.
Did you feel that? No, there's nothing to feel. I was
No,
joking.
okay.
That's
All
just-
right. No, I felt it.
What were you gonna say?
Do you post video?
Yeah.
Is there like what YouTube?
Well,
or?
no. So we did. How many we have? 5 so far. 5, and the first 2 was just me, and it was. I tried using a camera that I bought, and it didn't work. And then, so the first 2 are just audio, and then the last 3, the last 3 are iPhone camera and audio, and now we got 3
Now
cameras.
you got legit cameras.
Right?
So is it gonna play like on Spotify when you?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. I guess I should say all that crap. That crap. It's on
Plug it
Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Amanda set it all up. She's the head producer here. She's the bomb.
Nice.
She helped me find all this equipment and everything.
I'm guessing you have some experience with like producing and.
Does it for a living. She's
All the
like,
rest?
stop talking to me.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Matthew Fowler, guest number 6.
Yeah, buddy.
Tell me what you do now.
I work as a full-time real estate agent.
How did you start that? Because I remember you worked for me for a little bit.
Yeah.
You came on, did some carpentry. Were you like exploring different types of jobs?
With
Well, 'cause
when
you-
I started working with you.
Yeah. Like, what did you do before me? I feel like you were kind of trying a bunch of different professions because you were going to go work with your mother-in-law at one point.
Yeah. So that was.
and then you were
that was
with
some talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So what were you doing? Like, was
Well-
you trying different things to see what you like?
So initially, I wanted to get into because something similar to what you do, right? Buying and flipping homes, investing
Yeah.
in, buy and hold properties.
Yeah.
And I thought, we met at the wedding,
Yeah.
right? That was Michelle's wedding.
Yeah.
We hit it off.
Shout out Michelle Joseph. You better use the head.
It's a little too many puffs there, Steve.
A little too many puffs. I'm not usually an upper guy. I'm more of a downer pot smoker.
Yeah.
And I think this is upper, so I'm excited.
I know you can get contrasting feelings from.
I'm not a upper. What is it? Sativa or indica is upper, lower. Sativa's upper. So I'm an indica guy. I'm not a sativa guy. I like doing the relaxed stuff. And the sativa, no. Michelle
I don't know what
Joseph's
that
wedding.
means.
Shout out
Yeah,
Michelle
yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah, so
Fix it.
we met there. We connected. Initially I got my real estate license to become more familiar with the real estate market, so
Yeah.
I could become more knowledgeable into making these purchases and diving in and getting started.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I kind of lost focus on it's not an easy thing to really get into. Right?
No, it's
There's
not.
a lot of different moving parts and.
My dad had me read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was like 12 years old. You read Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
Yeah, that's why my son read the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Uh-huh.
How old is he now?
13.
No shit. It's a good age to read that book and instill it in you. Like my dad had me playing the board game, and I think that's
Was it the quadrant cash flow? Is that what it's called?
well, no, that's part of the book. So there's like that's the quadrant.
I thought that was
Cash
the board
flow
game
is the
too.
game. Cash flow
flow
is
is-
the name of the game.
Okay,
yeah.
quadrant cash flow
The
is
quadrant
another
is
book.
quadrant is in the book, and that's like being self-employed, working for somebody, owning an asset, owning a business. There's like different categories. I probably messed that up. Sure, we could look that up, can we? But yeah, if I didn't read that book when I was younger and play the game when I was younger, I wouldn't be where I am now. I mean, you're getting into this. You're learning real estate and construction and all that. It's complicated.
It is.
Super
It is.
complicated. So yeah, if I didn't read that book, I don't know. I don't think I'd be as successful as I am now. And I've acquired quite a few units, and it was through techniques I read in that book. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But yeah,
Yeah. So, I don't know. You know, a lot of things in my life just really haven't been linear, and we'll probably touch on that
Yeah.
in a bit. So, you know, I guess, you know, lost focus, and then, you know, so I started in real estate. You know, I got some traction, and then I think COVID hit, and, you know, I don't know, you know, use it as an excuse, and I
Yeah.
kind of just fell back into what I was doing. I was, you know, building furniture at the time, custom furniture, and I was really, you know, just passionate about it. I loved doing it.
I saw your initial post on Facebook about that. I thought that's what you did, was build furniture. Like on Facebook and stuff like
Yeah.
that? I thought that's what you did for like a living.
I did for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for
So why
a
didn't you
couple
keep that
years.
up? You can push that down, brother, if it's in your way.
what, this?
The mic, yeah.
Let me push it down.
Yeah, you could. I think it moves down more.
Eh,
No, or maybe back.
it's just
Slide back.
it's on this swivel.
There
Okay.
you go.
How's that?
Yeah, much
Is that better?
Yes.
All right, word up.
There you go. Oh, I can hear you much better. I can already hear you
Yeah.
breathing.
So what was the question? Why did I stop or
Yeah,
start
yeah.
or that?
yeah, why didn't you just stay with woodworking?
Well, I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of, I don't know. I think at the time it's like if I wanted to make more money, I had to hire employees, and I
okay.
just,
So you-
really wasn't set up to, I don't know, take that on. And
Yeah.
you know, there's probably a path for me to get there.
Yeah.
I wasn't motivated to. I just love doing the thing.
Yeah.
right? I love doing the thing. I love making things.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is like I feel like some people, all they do is they work by themselves building things, and if you're okay with that level of income, I think that's a great profession. But you're saying you wanted more, like a business.
Yeah.
I think the only reason you go into business, like a team type business where you have employees and stuff like that, is to generate more income.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about this often. Like, why don't I just do construction by myself? Just a one-man band. And I don't know. Sometimes I think I
There's a
want to,
limit. You're
sometimes I don't.
limited to unless you're super exceptional at what you do. You do super custom stuff that people are
Yeah.
willing to pay. It's almost like an art, right? Somebody's willing to pay like so much money for this piece of artwork that
Right.
so one person might look like a piece of shit, but
Yeah.
you know, it's because it has your name and your stamp on it. They're
Yeah.
willing to pay more money for it.
Yeah.
Maybe not an exact.
No, I know
analogy
what you
to-
mean. You're right. But I feel like it takes a long time of doing something to get that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
I think the most common thing probably is art. I feel like art, you just sit there and paint, and it's not really a paying job. And then one day you make it big, and your art sells for like 10 grand or 100 grand or $1 million. That'd be so dope.
living the life of a starving artist, right?
Yes. Oh, that's what it's right with.
Yeah.
You know, I oftentimes think about sayings like that, cliche sayings, and that's it. Probably where you hear a starving artist living the life of a starving artist, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, it makes sense. But then you think about it in perspective of your own life, like, oh my gosh, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of artists probably starve and like live in their car until they make it.
Right.
Probably it could be the same said for like actors. Yeah, I don't think you'd really. There's probably only a few professions that's like that, art and actors. But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
No, it's all good. Where were we?
So you were woodworking. You couldn't really expand your income.
Yeah, couldn't really expand. I guess I kind of romanticized with the idea of maybe like one day setting up a shop,
Yeah.
right? And like maybe like a cabinet shop.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I can go in I could set up a shop and have employees, and we're just making cabinets, right? I think that could possibly be a lucrative thing to do.
Oh my
and-
god, cabinets, kitchen
Yeah.
cabinets for sure. See, I would want to do that as like a retirement thing. When I have enough money coming in that I don't have to worry about how much time I spend in the shop or whatever I'm making,
Mm-hmm.
I could just do whatever I want. That's my dream. That's what I want to do. But you seen my carpentry skills, like fine carpentry. I don't have.
No?
I'm a rough carpenter. Yeah.
There's definitely There's definitely a difference. I think it kind of boils down to like rough carpentry, like you could be within like a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
Fine carpentry, you're like a 16th, maybe even a 32nd.
I was gonna
That's
say, I
your
feel like-
that's your degree of tolerance.
I
It's like a
know.
32nd of an inch, depending on what you're building, especially cabinetry.
Oh God, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like all your tools were set up for such fine measurements.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's totally different than what we do. I mean, we measure. We try to be accurate.
But the thing
in
is,
what
if you're building, like, I think a lot of these shops, right, they just have it set up, right? They even have a guy employed who just comes around and makes sure that the tool is still within that
Really?
tolerance. Yeah, a guy's just checking all the machines, right?
Come on.
Yeah.
And like a professional big shop.
Yeah,
that,
like a
you're saying?
professional big shop, right? Just to make
Really?
sure, because you're making the same piece, right?
Over and over.
again.
Oh, so you're talking like factory type.
Yeah,
furniture.
maybe kind of factory type stuff.
Yeah, cabinets
that's
especially.
one
I can
way
see
to think
how
of
it's
it.
just over and over and over.
It's one way to think of it. Or if you're doing like, I don't know, maybe some of these like luxury homes where they want, like walnut baseboard or some kind of exotic wood trimmed out in their whole entire house. Now you can set up your shop to, you can mill out, you can buy a bunch of that raw material
Yep.
and you mill it all out and you make it super custom, but you're going to get paid a premium for doing that work.
Can I tell you one of my dreams? I
hear
have
it.
20 acres in Franklinville, right? I want to build a cabin out there, like a super nice chalet looking cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to cut down the cherry trees that are on there because I got a bunch of black cherry on the property. Cut it down, drag it to my mill, make it into boards, plane it, make it smooth, put the tongue and groove into it, and then put floors to that entire house and have touched every single piece of the process. Like cut down the tree, mill the wood, plane it, sand it, tongue and groove, install, sand it again, stain it, poly it.
God, so just the floors?
Yeah, just because I think
Or
I
you
don't-
want to trim out the whole.
Yeah, I'll
that
probably
kind
do trim. I
yeah.
never really thought about that. Sorry, too loud. I get excited now. You
you're
got
yelling,
me.
man.
I'm talking about wood.
No, I can tell you're.
Now
you
you're
know,
getting me excited.
Yeah.
So
He's-
I don't-
He's fired up,
wood
man.
is giving me wood.
So we could take this part out, but real quick, I'm picking up a lot of the gum chewing. So I don't know if you could.
Oh, let me throw it out. Dude.
Yeah.
There's a garbage can over here.
Sorry, man.
Can you make it? You could shoot it. I don't care.
Yeah. Shoot it. No, I want to get that in the wide shot. Make that
Yo,
throw.
just shoot it right in.
Make that
shoot
throw.
It, nut it, shoot.
Yep. Bang.
Bank
Very
shot.
nice.
Clip.
Very nice.
Bank shot.
And was there something you said? Did you want to know something about Rich Dad Poor Dad, like the life,
The quadrant.
lessons?
The quadrant.
Oh, the quadrants. All right, I'll look that up.
Yeah, I want to know what the quadrant is in Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, you guys can tell me if I'm being too loud because I get excited. That's one of my dreams. I want to. Yeah, I'd probably do the trim package too.
That sounds awesome.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty dope.
Doesn't that sound super manly? I feel like that's like a thing.
Just to chop down the trees on your
Yes.
land and build.
And then I got a
build house out
tractor.
of
I
it?
drag it over to the sawmill. I let it dry.
Right,
I
yeah.
debark it. I cut. I mean, it's such a.
It's a process.
It's a yeah, but that's
yeah.
Can you like that? I think about this. I'm hoping to retire, not retire. And when I say retire, I mean not have to go to work. Okay, I'm hoping to have enough assets and businesses that produce income that I don't have to keep coming in. That's my dream.
Yeah.
I'm getting close. And if I can do that by the time I'm in my 40s, I feel like that'll be a great age to start the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start milling them. Like, because this is you're talking a multi-year project if I do that.
Oh, you're gonna be there for a long time,
Right?
Steve.
Yeah. Like I would probably have the foundation poured by somebody. I'd probably have the foundation poured by somebody professional because I don't want to mess that up. But
course.
I used to do in
What about the framing? You're gonna frame it
oh
yourself?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because nothing against framers. I'm in construction, but most framers who are doing it on a daily basis, they're just close enough.
They're like on autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them because you got to
Right.
make money, so you're moving as fast as you can. But if I'm gonna frame my own house, it's gonna be like with 2x12 floor joists, 12-inch on
Like
center.
I want to put a marble on.
Yes, and
I
it
want
just
that-
stays
Yep.
right there. Like I'm gonna check everything, level this, that, and the other. Like it's gonna be perfect. So yeah, I'm probably gonna frame it. I won't do the foundation. I'll frame it. I'll make all my own flooring. I'll make all my own trim. Windows. I didn't think about windows. I feel like Pella wood windows
You can tell. You thought about this.
a lot.
Yeah.
a lot. This has been I mean, I've had my land since I was 20 years old. Yeah, I bought my land. I bought my first 10 acres when I was 20. And then I bought my second 10 acres when I think I was like 24, 25.
Yeah. How much did you pay for those 10 acres when you were 20?
The first 10, 26 grand.
Not bad.
Not bad. And
Not
then the
bad.
second one, I think, was like 32,000.
Have you looked at what the value is today?
So I used to get these things in the mail. Like they were like automatic mailers. I think, you know how people do like just random mailers
Yeah.
to buy property?
Oh, yeah.
They just blast out an area.
Oh, of course.
I used to get them all the time. They were like 9 grand for your 10 acres. I just got one, $47,000.
All right.
So that tells me, like, if you're playing the proportion game, if I actually bought it for 23 grand and I was getting $9,000, you know what I mean, as offers, and now I'm getting offers of $47,000, the true value of that land is probably like 70 grand, I would guess. Plus, I got my little cabin on it. Plus, I'll be building my nicer cabin on it eventually.
And that's where you do your hunting, right?
Yes, yeah, it's on my list. We got to talk about
Nice,
some
nice.
I know
Yeah.
you wanted to get into it.
Okay.
But anyways, so
Yep.
you did carpentry with me for a little bit. You tried. You had your real estate license.
So I thought that would be, because this is what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I want to learn from the guy who was doing the thing that, eventually, I want to be doing. I guess I didn't figure out exactly all the steps in between.
Yeah.
And we had I had some things kind of happen in my life that pulled me out of everything that I was doing at that time. But
Yeah.
So
I think if you don't have a clear idea of what you want, like you wanted to flip houses, you wanted to own rentals, you wanted to be a real estate agent, have your license. Those are like 3, not vague goals because they're all in the same category. But I feel like if you don't have a very clear goal of where you want to go, it's very hard to figure out what you need to do. But I feel like you've kind of found your thing now. I feel like real estate's because you're making those videos.
oh
Those
yeah,
are dope, dude.
You like them?
Yeah, I do.
They're all right.
Why are you doing them?
Well, you need to have a presence on social media
Yep.
to gain more traction and
100%.
gain business. So
Yeah.
and they become fun.
Yeah.
My plan is to do more of them.
Yeah.
I always intend to do more of them, but
They look. Does somebody edit them?
I edit them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You do a really good job.
Yeah.
You do it all yourself?
All by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not through your real estate agent? You're
See,
not through
see,
your...
I don't have a cast and crew like you. Man. I don't kind of like that.
This is paid for. I got to pay friends to hang out with me.
Go to the wide shot real quick to get us in here.
My crew, my producers. So yeah, you're doing pretty good. I thought you had I thought you were doing them through your agency.
No. I've been doing them at Rosie's office.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Because the lighting's good there, and she's got those ring lights, right? It helps.
Yeah.
And I bought one of those little Bluetooth mics that I put on, and
Really?
yeah, I had the one video I couldn't post because I had the mic in my hand, and
Yeah.
I'm a mover,
Yes,
I
I-
can't stand still.
Yep.
Like I'm standing up, I'm all over the place, and she's
Yeah.
always yelling at me, "Fucking stop moving around!"
Yeah.
And because it's in the stand, and she's like, "You're not even in the shot anymore." 'Cause
Yeah, you move so
you're
much.
bouncing out of
Well,
it.
you did some where you're walking around. Like you did some at places. Like you did
Oh
one at
yeah,
the
I just
mall.
did one at the mall because I had the it had already mapped out for me, and
Yeah.
I had kind of talking points, and we're at the mall. I'm like, I got to make this video, and so let's just do it here.
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I feel like that takes balls. Like you couldn't record me talking to a camera at the mall.
Yeah,
Like this, I think is easy.
Okay.
You're like all nervous about this. I'm like, man, this is a joke. This is just us. You doing you're talking to the camera, and it feels like to me when I was watching it, you're talking right to me. You seem like an actor. Like you're very good, and you're doing it amongst people at the mall. I feel like that's intense.
You like the shot on the escalator? That
Yeah,
one,
that was
that
dope.
that one was tough to get.
Yeah, I believe it. Who was doing the camera?
Rosie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because we were just shopping, and I'm like, let's just knock this out.
That's what I mean. I feel like that
Yeah.
takes balls. Like you weren't nervous doing that.
Not really, no. I
Really?
think I'm more because this is more personal, right? That I'm just talking about real estate and.
Oh, okay. So what makes
yeah.
you nervous about being personal? Come on, we're friends, bro.
I don't know.
Is it these two schmucks that make you nervous?
Yeah, they're scaring me. I don't know. I just don't like. It's his hat. It's the hat, man.
No,
It's-
I think they were really good. I could have sworn you were doing it through your agency, and I thought you had like a person and a camera, and I thought they wanted you to do that because.
No,
I mean,
well,
I get it. It gets eyeballs.
they encourage you to do it, and we have somebody on staff that handles all the marketing. So if you need I guess an idea or if somebody to make a little post for you,
Yeah.
he'll do that for you. But yeah, they don't. There's no come in. We're making videos at this time, and
Yeah.
and all the rest. But I mean, it's your own. you're your own business when you're in real estate, right?
See, I
So
never
you don't-
understood because I never got my license. I've always had either a partner that was an agent or like I have a partner now who's a wholesaler. I never had my license, and I still come across a lot of deals, probably not as much as you guys, but I've never had an agent. So I didn't know how it worked.
You have no idea.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm learning now that you guys are what, like 1099? Are you guys self-employed?
Yeah,
basically?
yeah. So we're completely
And then you
self-employed.
work through a brokerage.
Yeah, we work through a brokerage. Yeah. So yeah, you're under a brokerage. And
you
but
pay
you're
it.
but what's that?
You pay. So what's the? Can you talk about the like pay structure? And all
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So okay, so the different brokerages have different
Rates.
pay structures
Yep.
and rates, and depending on who you are and how much business you do, the rate's going to fluctuate. So for my brokerage, I'm not sure if I can discuss it. Oh,
That's fine.
I'll talk in.
Just give me a general
I'll talk
breakdown
in
of how it
general-
works. Like,
general
they get a
circumstances.
percentage?
So how it works for me, there's a cap, right? So you start
Oh,
off
yeah.
you start off with a 55-45 split, right? So
Okay.
say if I sell a $2,000 home, right, and I get $6,000 commission, I get 55% of that. The brokerage gets 45.
Oh.
Now I could get 100% of that once I hit my cap. So once I paid the
Oh.
brokerage a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty fair amount.
Yeah.
Then I get 100% of that for the rest of the year,
Oh,
and
that's
it's on an
dope.
annual basis. I could even pay it up front. I could pay the amount of money up front, and then this way, every deal that I do for the rest of the year, I get 100%.
Do you get a
that
paycheck?
commission. No,
Or is it only commission?
it's only commission.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I don't get in front of another family, couple, investor, and I'm selling the property, I'm essentially unemployed.
Wow. But
Yeah.
doesn't the brokerage provide you with any like backup or contacts or network?
Yeah, and it again, it fluctuates per brokerage. I can't speak for all brokerages out there, but we have a we do have a lead generation.
Oh, okay. I feel
System
like that's huge, especially for real estate. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a CRM, and we use something called Boomtown, where we do get leads. And some of them are okay. I mean, I have to be honest, I haven't closed any leads that have
From
been
that.
generated through that have been given me by the
I
brokerage.
feel like because I can attest to this in business. I look for leads too because everything's sales, right? Like I got to sell jobs.
Yeah.
And to sell jobs, I got to have people coming to me asking to have construction done. So I've seen situations where they're providing leads, and I feel like leads are like a 1 in 100. I feel like leads that are generated for you are not.
Yeah, they're not.
They're tough.
Yeah, they're kind of cold. Some of them are more warm than others.
Yeah.
And it's luck of the draw,
Yeah.
right? But it's a numbers game, and the thing is with real estate, it's not like a get rich quick thing, and it's not like somebody's gonna call you and they're gonna say, hey, I want to buy a house, and you're writing an offer like the very next day, and it very rarely works like that. It's a long game. You need to nurture and work these leads, and you need to touch on them and keep
Yeah.
in contact with them.
So unless they call you directly, what if they call like your brokerage?
So they don't call us. We get a notification. So how it works is, so there's some that do call the brokerage, and
Yeah, because I would assume somebody that wants to sell their
yeah,
house.
there's some that
they see
do
your
call
team and
call
they're
them.
like, I call there, and then how does that get like seniority?
I think when they call the brokerage, it's like whoever's in the office to
Ooh.
really field the call, to take it right there, like a live kind of transfer type
That's got to
deal.
be a little competitive.
Sure, yeah, it's like
I would sit
somebody-
in the office all day.
Well, I feel like it's not that lucrative where it's like, oh, I'm gonna just sit in the office and wait for this to
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
yeah.
I mean, I try to get to the office as much as I can.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little more beneficial and advantageous than others, because I go to the office and there's people there just fucking around, and
Yeah.
I look at my watch like, God, 2 hours pass by and I literally got nothing done.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but then there's other times I go to the office and
Get paperwork
yeah,
done.
I get
things done.
a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, I think with COVID, a lot of people liked working from home, but I heard a lot of people also say they didn't like working from home. And I'm just applying the same concept to an office where everybody hangs out. You can get distracted way easier when you're at home. You know what I mean? Because your family's around, your kids are around. Can you do the lawn? Can you grab the lawn? And I'm like, honey, I'm working right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if there's a bunch of people just messing around at your office, it could detract from like your flow state, like focus.
Absolutely, right?
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
You know about flow state.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
I'm up on all the stuff. Andrew Huberman is one of my dudes.
Yeah.
I shout out to Andrew Huberman. I think I like super smart people who can really not enunciate, but articulate really well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because science is difficult enough for scientists, and then for normal folk to hear it, I think he does a really good job.
He does. He breaks it down to just the most basic level.
Layman terms,
and he gets very deep. And sometimes it's like way too deep for me. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I couldn't repeat it back to you.
No, I tried to, and I messed it up, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, the glycogen and the glucose in your veins, and I'm like, I don't think you're saying anything right.
Yeah,
but it works. I mean,
yeah.
So ice plunge. I'm not gonna lie. I saw your video of you going into the trough of your ice plunge in winter, and it made me feel like a little bitch. So I made it a point to go out and get the tub and put it in my garage and start doing it.
Yeah, I saw the. I think you did a post, right?
Yeah.
Of the cast iron tub
yeah.
in the garage. That's nice.
I just couldn't let you beat me. It's not like that. Like I like
no, I know what
competition.
You mean. Right.
Like I say this to a lot of people. It's the
That's
5
motivation.
closest people you're around is who you're going to be like.
It's true.
So you being my friend and then seeing you do that, I was like, oh man, it made me have that
You wanna
feeling
step
like,
your game up.
yeah,
You
I'm
wanna
like, if
level
he's
up.
doing that
Yep.
shit, I got to do that shit. What the hell? And then I saw you get yoked because I saw you like right before you got really big. Like when
Yeah.
you were doing carpentry for me, you weren't as big
No,
as you are now.
I was just more.
You were
more
talking about going to the Y and shit like that.
I was more. I was like fit, but the types of workouts that I was doing was more like hit workouts, insanity shit, just at home.
What is hit?
So high intensity interval training. So it's like you ever see like Insanity, Sean T. So during COVID, all the gyms closed because I
Right.
was going to the gym prior to. I wasn't lifting the way that I am now.
Yeah.
And like especially with diet and just as dedicated and disciplined and all the rest. In doing those workouts, your body's going to the aesthetic's going to be a lot different than if you're strength training.
So is that what you're doing now?
Strength training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what got you your size because you got much bigger
Oh yeah.
compared to what you were. Because I remember you said you were doing almost 2 days. You were doing the hit training, right, in the morning, and then strength training in the evening.
Yeah.
Remember we went out to dinner last year?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I would, and I still do. Well, okay. Well, actually, today I just learned that I've kind of been shooting myself in the foot by doing hit training in the
Yes.
morning.
Well, that's
right?
what I'm
'Cause-
asking.
So I'm working.
I know a little bit
okay,
about it, but
so
I wanted
I'm
to.
I'm working with the coach, right?
Okay.
Because I'm doing a competition in July. It's late July,
Really?
July 29th. Yeah, and I expect you to be there.
Oh, I
Yeah,
will
it's
be
it's
there,
gonna
my
be
friend,
At,
of course.
at Riverworks. It's a physique thing. Honestly, I know nothing about this world. I was kind of, it just kind of fell in my lap, and
Yeah,
Rosie's like,
you look good.
yeah,
you
well,
look good. Why not?
the dude that goes to the same gym as he's a coach, and he's like, we just started talking. He's like, I thought you were like, prepping for a show. You look like you're 6 to 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know like what that meant, and people are like, oh, that's a compliment, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't know that meant either.
I'm like, okay, 60. That seems like a long time, but
No,
it's
but
really
I'm
it's
sh-
not a long time. People prep for a year.
I was going
or
to say,
even,
yeah,
even plus.
My dad was really into bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of his idols. He had like pictures because my dad used to lift a lot.
Yeah.
And then I watched a couple documentaries on Netflix about lifting, powerlifting, and yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It is.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I could see why the 6 to 8 week thing is a compliment because that means you put in all the work to be able to
And it's
get
just
to
how
6
I live. I just show up every day.
Yeah.
That's just how I show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it now? Would you say your biggest? What? Because you, like I said, you weren't as big as you were a year ago.
Yeah.
What did you change from doing hit training in the morning and strength training in the evening till now that got you so much bigger?
Okay, so a year ago, well, let's see. I was kind of more in the beginning of getting back to the gym, right? Because COVID shut all the gyms down.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Nobody was going to the gym.
Yeah.
And then they started reopening slowly, and I think went back. I think late February.
Yeah.
It was like in February of last year.
Okay.
Right. So whenever I saw you is probably when I first got back in.
Yep.
And then now it's just been literally every day.
So just being
It's
committed.
Just being committed and diet. and really focusing on what I'm putting in my body.
What are you eating?
Right. So now, like I said, I got a coach, so my whole diet.
Oh, he figures it out for you?
Yeah, he sends me a meal plan. My workout regimen has changed.
Really?
Not completely, but we modified some things. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we do posing right on Sunday.
Really?
And that's I have to say I got to give these guys credit because it's a lot more difficult than you think.
Really?
Yeah, just to like hit a pose, especially like a back pose.
Well, you probably have to learn how to flex certain muscles in certain ways at certain times.
Well, I mean, okay, we've all done a bicep when you're a
That's
kid,
easy.
right? That's easy.
No.
But look at you
That's
over
easy.
there. How about back? Do you flex your back when you can't even see your back, right? When
No.
are you flexing it? So it takes practice, right?
I'm not going to lie. Whenever I see those kind of people at the gym, until you said that you had to like practice poses, I kind of thought they were just being douches that like look at themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know until you know.
Well, from what because I always go in the morning, right? I have a morning routine that I stick to. I'm pretty, religious about it. But so I always go to the gym in the morning. I don't go in the afternoon or the evening. But I guess it's like it's a completely different atmosphere. Like you go in the morning, everyone's chill. There's a lot of older people.
Yeah.
But after you come, like when the teenagers and everybody get out of high school,
I'm sure.
it's like everybody's like an Instagram model, and
Really?
they got their phones on tripods
man.
and.
I didn't even think about that. I haven't been to a gym like that, like a gym, in so long. I didn't think it's probably full of people just sitting because it is a lot of what you see on social media now.
Yeah, like good luck getting on certain machines. They're sitting there just fucking around on their phones.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's gotta be so annoying.
Oh yeah, it would drive me nuts. It would drive me nuts. And
So
then,
you like your early morning, you got a routine down.
yeah,
Sitting there posing on Sundays. In the mirror?
yeah. On Sundays, yeah, we go in. There's one of the rooms that we go into, and there's a group of us. So I'm doing like a men's physique where they basically just judge your upper body. So I'm actually in like board shorts. I'm not in a banana hammock.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I think you got to be a whole nother level to be those big guys.
Well, it depends because I guess there's different competitions, right? There's there's natural competitions, and then there's where you're not getting tested. Now,
What's the Arnold's? What's the Mr. Olympia? Do they test?
oh no, they're all juiced up.
Really?
Yeah, they're juiced up to the
Oh, my
nines, man. They're
God.
probably taking they're on the sauce. My friend.
Testosterone,
They're all sauced up.
steroids, this, that.
Testosterone, steroids, probably anything they could do to just gain even the smallest amount of muscle. And give an edge.
What's the word? It's not ironic. Isn't that like a oxymoron almost? That they look super healthy, but they're
They're
pumping
super
themselves
unhealthy.
full
Yeah,
of drugs.
it's not healthy at all. It's
I don't think I could
yeah.
do
Actually,
that.
I think I heard it was like Rogan and somebody else talking about it. About just like that's the appearance, right? The aesthetic is what we all would like to
Want to
look
look like yeah, but you'll never
and
look
they
like
look
that
healthy,
if you're not
but,
natural.
But they're no, you won't.
No.
You won't.
Because I lift. I mean, I don't lift to your level, but I lift enough that I kind of keep in shape. You know what I mean? Like I work construction for a living. I want to be able to lift things. I want to live longer. I want to feel healthier. I don't want to feel weak. And there was a point where I wasn't huge. I wasn't fat, but I was just pudgy. Like everything was soft. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no.
You don't want to be soft.
I don't want to be soft.
No.
I'm like, because I've always been a bigger guy, so I have a wide shoulders.
Yeah.
But it was like a skinny fat almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where
Yep.
you're not really anything. You're just, you're just like the mass is there.
You're just there.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's bad. To each their own. But I just wasn't comfortable because all my life I've kind of been skinny and in shape and had definition, and then it went away. And I was like, oh no. And I realized I'm like, oh, I'm like 32 years old. This shit doesn't just stay.
You got to work at it, man.
Yeah,
You got to work at it. You got to train your body.
Yes.
Right.
So I do a lot of like full body exercises. I do a lot of pull-ups. I do a lot of push-ups. I do just general.
You do like calisthenics?
Yeah.
A lot. Where do you do it? At home?
At home.
At home?
Yeah, I
So
don't
what do you
have
got? A pull-up bar
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what else? Tell me
Squat
what
rack. I got a squat rack.
Okay. Are
I
you doing
got-
squats?
Yeah,
Barbell
yeah.
squats?
Yeah, just because
Okay.
I feel like there's workouts that are good for the whole body. Squats is one of them because I feel like you're activating so
Yeah.
much of your body, keeping your balance. You're kind of probably getting a little core in there. Your biggest muscles are what your legs.
Your compound.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of stuff.
Your bench press, your deadlift, and
Yes.
your squat.
What is it?
Your bench press,
Bench.
your deadlift, and
Yeah.
your squat.
So
Yeah.
I need to do bench press and
And deadlift?
deadlift. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like deadlifts. I just heard
I
of a
say
Joe
to-
Rogan episode. I feel like they're. You saw it, right? The risk to reward ratio of doing deadlifts isn't worth it because you can get injured.
Yeah, well, if you're not doing it correctly, well, your
Yeah.
form's so important with deadlifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you definitely want to make sure that.
I feel like I wouldn't do it right.
I'd say it's the hardest movement to learn.
Really?
Yeah, it's the hardest movement to learn.
So you do all those, like all those general workouts you still do?
Well, until I started working with the coach, he switched up my plan.
Yeah.
So squats, I haven't done a squat since I started working with him because I do different types of squats.
Okay.
Now, as far as squats with the barbell, I used to not that I love squats. Actually, I hated squats,
Yeah.
but I knew I had to do them because I hated them so much.
Yeah.
And that's just how my brain works. It's like,
Yeah. That's how I feel. Like,
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point I think we've talked about this with discipline. When things suck, I'm like, oh, I must be doing something good for myself.
You got to run towards
because
it.
I hate it. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Squats.
Okay, so squats, right? When you do squats like that, you activate muscles around your hips, right? And your goal, what you're trying to attain is wide shoulders, and you're trying to look as slim as possible in the waist, right? So there's different types of you could do like hack squats and just kind of assisted squats with different machines, so you could still you're just isolating your legs, glutes, and hamstrings,
So you're
whatever.
going for like definition in those hip muscles, not size.
Yeah, so I want my waist to be as small as possible and my shoulders to be as large as possible. So now
that's
I'm doing, different shoulder exercises. I'm kind of touching on shoulders on another day in the week. And basically your shoulders and your back are kind of the two most important things when it comes to this like physique.
I'm sure. Yeah. That's what that's my favorite physical attribute of myself is my shoulders. I mean, if you don't have good shoulders, I feel like you don't look good. Because you could have the biggest muscles in the world, but if you're still like just like a pencil, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you got to get those lats and them shoulders,
Right,
like
you
to
want to
sit
look
out
as wide as possible.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Get
yeah.
that barn door back, those Death Star delts. You know what I mean?
yeah, that.
Yeah.
So trainer helped you like organize your workouts?
Yeah, so he modified it a bit. So he took away the bench. I mean, I honestly always thought that, and it's. I'm glad that I'm doing this. I've kind of been coerced into doing because I'm learning a lot about just training and fitness and different way you can get to a certain.
Yeah, I'm learning through you right now. That's why I keep asking all these questions. It's like a free education.
And then diet too. We'll touch on that in a second.
I think that gets way overlooked.
It's just as important, if not even more important than lifting.
Yeah. I honestly think it's more important because I have an example. My wife, me and her discipline for eating is not as good as mine. So she eats a lot of sweets.
Oh,
and
she got a sweet tooth.
Yeah, and she would go to the gym every single day. Now she looks good, right?
Yeah.
But like I didn't have to go to the gym, and all I had to do was really maintain my diet, and I was losing weight. But that's kind of when I was like the skinny fat, where I didn't have you don't have muscle. Mm-hmm. So I would argue to say because she looked so good, but her diet was so bad. I think really good workouts can mask a bad diet. But if you have a bad diet, I don't think you could. No, that doesn't make sense.
No, I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You kind of make up for
one
without the other.
Yes.
Doing with your diet.
Yes.
Versus.
I think working out can allow you to have a bad diet. If you don't work out and just have a good diet, you don't look that good. You just stay skinny.
Well, here's the thing. Why not do both?
Well, obviously.
Why not do both?
But I'm just saying that's at the time when we were kind of comparing, it was like, I'm like, okay, I need to get back in the gym.
And I don't know. It's just for me, it's like it's mind blowing. At this point, since I've been doing the things that I've been doing, and I feel the way that I feel now, and I guess
I can't go backwards. Yeah,
it's like I can't go back. Like my diet, it's pretty stringent now, and I mean I always ate pretty well, and I didn't eat a lot of sweets or bullshit, or stuff out of a bag or processed stuff. I think staying away from that is important. I mean now like my diet just consists of it's chicken, fish, beef. It's basically just meats. It's whole
meats, whole foods.
Nutritious.
Do you ever eat bad?
Dense food. What's that?
Do you ever eat bad?
I don't even want to anymore.
Really?
Like I don't even want to. Yeah.
So you don't cheat at all.
I mean, like Mother's Day, we went out to Bobby J's. Like, my wife and her brothers and their families and her mom. And I mean, I ate a veal parm. and with some spaghetti, and I ate a piece of bread.
Not that on. I ate a piece of bread. Did you feel it?
No, I didn't feel as bad as I thought I would, but I don't know, man. A lot of times, like, I feel like I'm pretty sensitive into like what I put in my body. Like, I don't drink anymore. I used to drink all, like, especially during football season, every Sunday, man.
Really?
And then Sunday, and then there would be beers left in the fridge, and then I drink like maybe a couple throughout the week. But
I haven't had a drink for like 5, 6. Actually, I don't keep track. I don't know why I say numbers. I'm guessing 6 months. I haven't had one in a long time. Not even a sip. And that's probably one of the things that I enjoyed stopping the most was not drinking.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. And then Andrew Huberman was saying that one night of binge drinking, even if it's like just 3 drinks on a Friday, messes you up for like a week, 2 weeks. I forget the actual.
Dude, it's the ethanol in it, right?
Yeah, but it lasts so much longer than just that one night. It's so unhealthy to be.
It does.
People think like, oh, I only do it one night a week and I only have 3, 4 drinks. Like, it's not a big deal. That's still bad for you. It's still very bad for you.
Yeah, the last time I drank, there was a huge like real estate event, and it was a huge party.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
free drinks.
It's hard not to drink,
and,
right?
Man, I went out and I went pretty hard. I went pretty hard, and days after, man, it took me at least 3 days to like get back. I just felt like shit for days. And I'm like,
Yes.
this just isn't worth it.
That's why I've never been a drinker. You gonna say something about drinking? See, my DJ over here loves his drink.
Yeah, I have a couple drinks a couple times a week.
Does it make you feel like crap?
Yeah, I hate it. Now that we're over 30, yeah, the hangover lasts about 2-3 days,
Right?
depending on how much. But, like I went to the PGA Tour Championship in Rochester, had one double there. It was a Tito's and water, and now because if I stop drinking, then you get the hangover in the middle of the day. So I got a White Claw now, and
That was one of
keep it
my
going.
least favorite things was to get the hangover during hanging out.
During the that's when you know you've been at it for too long.
Oh, dude, I just don't like hangovers.
That's like the
in general.
tailgate, right? You go to a Bills game, the tailgate, and then like halftime hits.
I don't even know if I could do that anymore. Because I now it's like it's become one of those things, right? Because I haven't drank in so long, I feel like I'm on a streak. You know what I mean?
You don't want to break the streak.
No,
Yeah,
it just became like a thing. Like now I just want to see how long can I go without even having a sip ever. Because like at first I was just like, I'm not going to do it because I feel good. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to drink. I'm not doing it because I'm not drinking.
Right.
But now I've not drank at all for so long. I'm like, how long can I make this last? So I'm
Yeah.
going like 6 months and I feel pretty good.
That's
Back to your workout thing. I kept cutting you off. I should have named this podcast Down the Rabbit Hole.
down the rat. But yeah, we're gonna be all over the place. I'm guessing.
I can't help it.
Matt, how long has it been since you had a drink? Because you said it was at that last event you went to.
I mean, I could look on my phone at the date of it. It's been a couple months, at
Really?
least. But yeah, even ever since, like I said, since football season.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I don't know, man. I don't know why. I was like, hey, because we were entertaining at our house, having like my brother, dad, and some of my wife's family come over and just get beer and drink and watch football,
it's
right?
Such
And
a
that was
social thing.
Yeah.
It's such a. I can understand why some people become alcoholics. This we could talk about if you're cool with it, like your journey through addiction. Because
Sure.
that I'm starting to understand more and more and more. The more people I talk to, the more perspectives I get on it. But dude, alcohol is so normalized. It is crazy. You don't realize it until you try to not drink. It's so socially accepted everywhere, almost to the point where you get teased if you're not drinking.
Right. Yeah. People have to go into social settings with the strategy or plan to
Not
make it look
drink.
like they're drinking. Like, you're right, they get like a club soda, put a little citrus fruit in it, act as if.
I never even thought about that. See, I don't care what people think. So I'm just like,
Well,
I'm not
I mean,
drinking.
for somebody that does, right, that doesn't want to be badgered about it.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe they're recovering alcoholic, right, and
Yeah.
they don't want to have that conversation with somebody.
That's so tough. That has to be so tough.
Or that's a tactic you could use to get somebody to lay off. Like, why aren't you drinking? Well, I'm recovering alcoholic, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say
Like,
that.
oh,
I'm just
I'm
gonna tell
sorry.
people.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's one thing that I think I've developed, almost like the discipline thing. I think the less you care what people think about you, and I don't mean to say this in like a negative tone. I don't care what people think about me because their thoughts in their head don't do anything to me. It doesn't bother me what's like. I'm gonna live my life based off my actions and thoughts and decisions, not anybody else's. But I used to be so obsessed. What if this person thinks this about me? Does it really matter?
No, at the end of the day, it doesn't.
Not at all.
That's a tough thing to accomplish. To like really not give a fuck what.
Well, I think there's a rude way you can do it and a positive way you can do it. I think some people out there, and when I say this, I'm sure it'll pop into your head like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me, and they almost are like walking chaos. Like, and I get some people get like a sense of like doing it because they want people to not like them. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I don't care what people think about me. And I'm like, that's not how I feel. I just genuinely know that their opinion of me isn't going to change my life.
Right. And I think for those people, they have to go out of their way to say it. I think they really do, right?
Yes. They don't actually not care what people think about. They almost want people to not like them. But they say like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. And I'm like, that's not how I would be. You're
acting too tough, buddy.
Yes. But see, I just, in a very positive sense, I realized one day that somebody's opinion of my weight, my appearance, how much money they think I have, what they think I'm doing, doesn't actually change my minute to minute right now. It means literally nothing. So why would I allow it to make me feel anxious, sad, happy, scared? Those affect the way you do things. I want it to be the only reason why I do what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, hey, you really are only in control of
you.
Your own mind, and
of
your
you,
own
of your
thoughts
reality, your
and
perception.
Yeah.
That's all you can control. I'm starting to think there's days that I feel like I live in a simulation. I know we don't.
Oh, who says the chances of us living in a simulation? I think it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said like the chances of us living in a simulation are greater than us not living in a simulation.
I don't know if that was Neil deGrasse. Can you look that up?
Maybe it was like Elon Musk or Neil deGrasse or some.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we're living in the Matrix. I refuse to believe that I got a wire plugged in the back of my real head right now.
It doesn't make you feel too good.
No,
right?
It doesn't.
It's like whatever I do, does anything matter?
Yeah.
Right?
So Can I share an experience of mine?
Yeah.
I did mushrooms.
Yeah.
at a Shack concert. Probably the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life because I did too much.
Was this recent?
Yeah, within the last couple of years. And
how much did you take?
I don't know. I was trying to show off, and I was just eating mushrooms.
Were they actual mushrooms, or was it like the candy bar?
No, it was actual mushrooms.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, big ones.
Just
I was like, Well, what happened was I ate like a big one, and then half an hour, 45 minutes went by, and I was like, this isn't so bad. I don't feel too fucked up. So then I ate another one, and then that was another big one. So we get into the concert, and I'm having a good time at first, and I'm just doing my thing. The music's playing, and then it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Like I got anxious, I got paranoid, because I think it was just because the music was so loud and there was a lot of people. Like you can almost feel that energy.
Yeah.
And we had just been there for like maybe 15 minutes.
Wait, you said this was a Shaq concert?
Shaq concert.
Who's Shaq?
Shaq, the basketball player.
Oh.
DJ Shaq.
He's a DJ?
Yeah,
what
dude.
The fuck?
He does like EDM music. Yeah.
Okay.
Like a whole thing.
I obviously know who Shaq is.
Yeah. So,
where was this?
What's the place by the water?
Riverworks?
Is it Riverworks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's all big and open.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Great place for an EDM concert.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't messed up as I was on shrooms. So I had to like leave right away. I was there for maybe 15 minutes. Left. My wife, she's so great. Oh, it's okay. Come on. We get to my truck, vehicle, whatever it was, and she like puts me in the passenger seat, and her sister came out with her. So they're at like the back of the vehicle just talking. And I went somewhere, and I remember having this distinct thought of like, I want to go back. I don't want to be out of the Matrix. Not the Matrix. I didn't use that word. It was hard. Wherever I was scared because it wasn't reality. Wherever I was, it wasn't
Well, let me ask
real.
you, when was the last time you did them prior to that concert?
Like maybe a few weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. So you have experience. You
Yeah.
knew what to
I don't think I ever
anticipate.
had that much.
Okay.
And the setting was really bad. but what I'm saying is, I distinctly remember having this thought. I want to go back. I remembered the scene from The Matrix. Do you remember the scene from The Matrix? Cyrus, I think it is. Is it Cyrus?
Like the red pill, blue pill scene?
No. Where he's like sitting there saying he's like, oh yeah, I know this steak is fake, and I don't care. It tastes delicious to me right now. I think it tastes delicious. I want to be here. I want to be in the Matrix. Like, I don't care. I know it's fake, but I still want to stay.
Right.
That's the thought I had. I was like, I don't want to not be in it. Like, I love my life. Like, I do love my life. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go into that reality if it is like, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
if they're underground running from robots. I don't want to be there. I want to be in the Matrix. My life is awesome.
And you came to this conclusion
It's
all
awesome.
while on mushrooms.
Yeah, I had that thought. I remember having that specific thought. Like, I want to go back. Am I getting too loud? Sorry. Getting a little
He's
excited.
getting a little excited over
excited.
I like the
I'll talk about my
excitement.
Yeah.
So the original philosopher was Nick Bostrom, maybe, but the big name guy is Elon Musk.
Elon
thinks
Musk.
he's-
Okay.
that we're in a
More
simulation.
than likely, we're living in
I knew it was one or the other.
Yeah. So
One of them guys.
I just, like, you enjoy your life right now, right?
I do.
Like,
Yeah.
it just made me, ever since that day, it made me realize that no matter how bad my days are, I would still much rather be in the Matrix. Like, I like my life. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love where I live. I love this. I love doing what I'm doing. Like, I love, if this is fake, I love it. Great job. Like, great job.
All right, I'll take it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
no, yeah. I mean, that seems pretty deep, right? It's like, you know, I mean, I don't know what what you were trying to gain from that journey that you went on, right?
I wasn't.
Were you trying to gain anything, or were you just like, I just want to go have a good time?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and the wrong drug. I should have done like Molly or something like that, like a party drug.
Probably.
I'm
right?
talking to three ex-addicts here. Like, what drug should I have been using?
That might have been better for you.
Molly?
Probably Molly.
Is there a drug? What is Molly? What is the actual? What is Molly actually?
I think it's MDMA.
Yeah, it's MDMA. It's like just
MDMA.
like
That's what I
pure
meant.
MDMA. Like ecstasy has a bunch of other bullshit in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, MDMA and ecstasy are different.
Well, I mean, I think
She's nodding her head. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference, Sean?
Well, I'm seeing that ecstasy, Molly, MDMA can actually go hand in hand, but I'm sure that one of them is more the pure form, and then the other one might have like ecstasy. I know that I've seen a
They
bunch
add
of like
stuff to it?
yeah bullshit. In
Yeah,
ecstasy.
yeah. The ecstasy, they stamp them and they condense them. They put a bunch of like some of you find heroin and
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
all types of
Drugs is
stuff.
a dangerous game.
It is, yeah. And I know now it's even scary because all the fentanyl, right?
Fentanyl,
Like
yeah.
people are like they're putting in cocaine. They're just putting in, they're cutting everything with
So
it.
this is going to be a hot take, and I'm saying it in front of three ex-addicts is going to be tough. I want to do drugs. I growing up, I think I talked to a man about this in our podcast, that growing up, I never really did anything but weed, and I was terrified when I did it. Right, I did it when I was like 15 years old, barely, for like 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Never really did drugs. Got very lucky until I got into my late 20s and 30s, and now that I'm an adult, you know, I tried cocaine twice. I tried mushrooms. I smoked weed.
what kind of drugs you want to do, Steve? Like you just want to experiment?
I just want to try them.
Yeah.
Because what if I understand that drugs can lead you down a really bad path and they can really ruin your life.
Yeah.
Fortunate for me, I don't seem to have an addictive personality. I've been able to do drugs, try them, and then I love them and never do them again. Like
Yeah.
Coke, aside from the 2 times I've done it,
Yeah.
and that was at my buddy's wedding, Sean's wedding. How long ago was that? 2 years?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years ago? Haven't done it since.
Yeah. I mean, I
And I
think
loved it. Loved it.
I think different people, right? They like you're at a point in your life, right, where you're not in your formative years. You're grown up.
Yes.
You're an adult. You're successful.
Yeah.
You know, you've done all the things, and if you can manage to do these things and it not become an issue in your life, right? You found a sitter for your kids, right? Your kids
Yeah.
are safe, right?
Yeah.
You're not neglecting them, and you're not you're doing it in a safe setting.
Yeah.
The stuff that you're getting, it's
Which a
not gonna.
responsible adult
Yeah,
would.
yeah. If you're doing it responsible, I think there's a responsible way to do it, and then an irresponsible way to
Well,
do
I think when you're a kid, it's always irresponsible because you're, one, hiding it. 2, you're a kid, so your brain's not you're not making
Yeah.
good decisions.
Right.
And then I feel like it's very easy to get addicted at that age because you don't know any better. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I would love to go do coke again. I would love to. But I know like it's a dangerous drug. You can get addicted to it. Like control yourself. Don't do it again. I can do that because I'm an adult. But I feel like some people, can't. And especially when you're a young person, it's very easy to like, this is great. I really like this. I want to do it again.
It's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna rewire your brain, and
that is the part that scares me. That our brains are so fragile that you could really fuck it up. Like I heard that Robin Williams did a bunch of cocaine, and then that's why he ended up killing himself, because he even said it at the end of his cocaine journey when he got clean, but then he hated his life because he got clean. That he says this totally changed the way my brain works. For him to be aware of that and know that freaks the shit out of me.
right.
Because that could happen to me. Like if I did something too much.
I mean, if you do it too much, it sounds like he was like a daily user.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, he's Robin Williams.
Yeah,
He's
Robin Williams.
loaded
Look at
and
the man.
famous. Yeah, I'm sure he could do it all day, every day.
So how long was he like? Was he addicted like during like when he was doing like Miss Doubtfire
don't
and
know.
Good Will Hunting and
That's a good question, Sean.
all the rest? He's on it.
I love this. Is again, I'm going to say this in all my podcasts. When do you ever get this opportunity? When in,
really,
when
you
in
don't.
a
You
normal
never-
day do you get to sit down and talk about how much coke Robin Williams snorted? When? Never. Unless you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
This is why I freaking love this thing.
Phones off.
Yes. Yes. Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think I understand addiction more now than I ever did. I'm not saying I completely understand it because I don't get addicted. Again, 3 people who have. So I don't know. I think if you can do drugs and not get addicted, but you also have to have a level of self-awareness, maybe. Is that like did you guys realize you were getting addicted?
I mean, when I first started doing, I was young. I was just really young, and
How young? Can you tell me?
I mean, so I started smoking weed at 13, and then 14, probably started doing coke and mushrooms, LSD,
In your
Molly.
teens?
Yeah.
No shit.
My childhood was very interesting.
We've talked about,
it
a
was
little bit this
pretty,
and that.
pretty fucked up.
You don't have to get into all that, but I just
Yeah.
so you were doing those. My question is
I was experimenting, with friends, and I think by like 16. Yeah, 16. I started taking pills, and
Yeah.
I became addicted to opiates at like 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did
and-
you like that's my question? Were you aware that you were getting addicted, or were
No,
you?
actually, it's funny. So because things were just really messed up at my house, right?
Yeah. So
Things just completely fell apart. My sister got taken away from my mom when I think I was 15. You know how hard it is to take like a child away from their mother?
No, but if somebody tried to take my kids away from me, I would go to jail because I'd kill them. I have a lot of guns that I would kill them.
Yeah, well,
I don't care if I was addicted to
aunt,
drugs or not.
My aunt flew in from Connecticut. She came down with a lawyer. They had a lot of money. She probably paid an expensive lawyer, but just things were just so messed up that the court saw it fit to take, to give my sister,
somebody else.
my aunt custody of my sister, and then she went back to Connecticut with my sister. So I say that to say that I ended up, so at that time, yeah, I started taking pills. I knew nothing about the addictive.
That's why my question is why. Like, were you taking it to cope? Like, wasn't it escape from your reality?
I think when I first took when it was just Lortabs, right? Back
I'm a
in the-
dummy. I'm a dummy.
Okay.
Remember,
So-
I'm a goody two shoes. Don't do drugs. You have to explain these things to me.
Hydrocodone.
Okay, hydro.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference? I mean, is that a brand name or is that like what is it?
I think so. Honestly, I don't even know. I think it's just a brand name. Yeah, it's just the pharmaceutical name. They put their label on it.
Lortab was like a brand
Lortab
name
is-
for a hydro?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's so long ago.
I know. Listen, I assume this is my being naive. I just like, oh, you're an addict. You must know everything there is to know about drugs. And I'm like, it's such a stupid view, a stupid perspective. But I think a lot of people, maybe just me, or maybe other people, but you just think because they were an addict, they would know
You're just an
everything
expert
about it.
in-
Yeah,
in
but
all things.
that's not why you were addicted. You were just addicted because you like doing drugs. So I'm assuming you just would do whatever.
Yeah,
you
there's
get your
probably a
hands
lot
on.
of intricacies about it that I just really didn't cared to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I just knew where my drugs were. I knew how to get them, and that's it.
Ditto.
But yeah, I think one, when I initially took that, it's just like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like a warm hug, right?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and a lot of your problems, went away. I dealt with a lot of struggle at that time, a lot of trauma that I think recently, I'm starting to, with a clearer mind, recognize and
Do you do
digest.
therapy?
What's that?
Do you do therapy?
No.
No. Why not?
I don't know. I probably should. I probably should, Steve.
No, I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just like, what do you feel like you need it?
I probably could talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my
hash out
therapy.
things. I mean, I've done therapy throughout the years,
Okay.
and I don't know. I really find it too helpful.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, my opinion of therapy, and I've said this a couple times. There's a documentary on Netflix about, oh God, what's his name? Jonah Hill and his therapist. It's the documentary is called Stutz. And what I really liked about him and his therapist was his therapist opened up to him and was talking about like personal things to Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
I think the reason that there's a stigma around therapy is because it's in a very formal setting and you're telling your life and you're like talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And they're not talking to you. So it feels almost like, I'm assuming, work. Like you can't really open up to a person that's not opening back up to you. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Yeah.
And that's why I think therapy gets that stigma because it's like you're going to see a doctor. You know what I mean? Not that they're not doctors. I don't know why I air quoted it. But right? I mean, why didn't it feel good to you?
There's a lot of untrustworthy doctors out there.
Is that what it felt like to you? Like you just couldn't relate, or like
I don't know. I guess yeah.
Why didn't it help?
Probably a bit of that, and I think you're right. Like maybe it being more of a conversation than somebody you just
sitting
talking
there taking
at
notes.
somebody.
Yeah, you're sitting there taking notes
somebody
about
taking
you.
notes, and
I
don't
feel
know.
like that's a thing.
I think maybe you have to have the right person, right? It's a give and take.
Yeah.
There's you gotta have the right energy in the room,
Yeah.
and maybe find the right person to talk to.
Yeah.
And probably doesn't even need to be a therapist.
Yeah.
Right. You could probably just find a good friend. Or,
Yeah. This is my therapy, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, so
serious.
there you go.
This is
Yeah.
my therapy, and it's not like I need therapy. I think humans, part of like I don't want to say stuff like the 5 tenets because I don't know. I'll mess it up. I'm sure there's probably like a 5. Like your health, your diet, your nutrition, your working out, your sleep, water intake. I feel like those are vital to living a healthy lifestyle. Sun. But I feel like as humans that we used to live in tribes and villages, and now there's so many of us that we live in these big cities. We're so busy. Therapy, communication, just this.
Right, it's a sense of community,
is-
right? Everybody's all huddled in their little
but-
cubicle or even at
and you don't
home.
get to talk to each other like this.
Yeah.
I feel like that's there. I think the science is finally catching up that they're able to document the changes in somebody that talks and doesn't. But I don't think people look at it as like actual, not medicine, but it's good for your
No,
body.
100%.
It's good for you.
I'll say this much. I notice on the days that like if I'm at home and I'm doing tasks that don't involve me talking to anybody,
Yeah.
right? Because there's some days like that, and then the days where maybe I'm at the office, I'm taking a lot of calls, I'm
Yeah.
wheeling and dealing, I'm
Yeah.
shaking and baking.
Yeah.
Just by the end of the day, I feel like the difference is so noticeable.
got the
Like
buzz?
I got
I
a little
know.
buzz, I got a little pep in my step.
After
and,
this, I'll have
yeah.
a buzz for the rest of the night. And we've had podcasts, all of us together. And like,
it's
every time I get done, because the conversation gets real good. After you break it in, you get to talk a little bit, and then like hour like 2 and 3, man, it is a thing. You get like an energy. You start getting into some deep rabbit holes and shit, and it's like, yeah, I think that's
where
what
you settle in, right?
Yeah,
you get in that
yeah,
flow.
yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. I think it's just like you said, coming on this. Can I say like you were a little nervous?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
definitely
thing.
was.
Like you're like going to sit down to do a thing. So you have like a little nervous
Well,
energy.
I think I always get, like me just talking about myself and my just personal situations in my past. I've never been good
Comfortable?
at it.
Yeah.
I've just never been good at it. And
What do
I've
you
just
mean
never,
good at it,
I don't know, just to be able to articulate, my own story, which is crazy, right? Because it's my story. Nobody
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
it
yeah,
better
yeah.
than me. But I don't know.
No, I think there's something to be said because I have a lot of days where I have like I don't even know how to explain it. I can't articulate it. Thoughts that if I try to put them in words out of my mouth aren't what I'm thinking / feeling. You know what I mean?
Right,
like
right.
I have these visions, ideas, dreams, emotions, thoughts that I have them, and I know what I mean in my head, but I can't like get them out the right way.
Right.
If that makes sense.
In a way for somebody to be able to pick up on exactly.
Yeah,
what you're thinking.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that in my first podcast. We might all be speaking the same language, but we're not all speaking the same language. What I say something, it might mean something different to me, and you said the exact same words. That's not what it means to you. It's totally different. Like, that's why I love the podcast.
Yeah, everybody's perception's different, right? And,
Yeah.
and that all goes to breaks down to your past,
Yep.
how you were brought up,
Yeah.
and, what and just
I
what
think-
would have brought you to the point that brings us talking to each other.
I think energy is a big part of it too. If I'm talking to a person that has like no energy or low energy, I almost like start getting dragged down. Like I get like, you can't talk to that person. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
It's almost like humans all have different energy levels. And then when you talk to each other or you're near that person, the energies almost want to balance out. So if you have a person that's like real low energy, it like brings down a person that's like a high energy person, like down.
I feel like there's always an exchange, right?
Yeah.
There's always somebody might just be sucking that energy
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of
yeah,
you.
yeah. But it's like a
It-
balance thing. Like
Right.
energy wants to balance, and this is a science thing, right? Energy wants to balance, right?
Yes, it's called equilibrium.
Equilibrium. So like that's
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've heard that word.
yeah. It's and I think with temperature, like if it's hot in one part and cold in another, where they start to touch, they want to balance out. So the temperature start. I think that happens with humans' energy. Whenever I'm around low energy people, I get kind of like low energy, and this happens in sports too. Yeah. Like if the team's not motivated and full of energy, you play like shit.
You do.
But if
Yeah.
the team's all, yeah, let's go, you're all amped up, I feel like people start to, energy is
It's
such
like-
a thing.
It's like why do you think Tony Robbins? He's always like stand up,
Yeah.
move around, and
Dude,
dance."
that dude's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get nervous about being too happy all the time because I do believe in balance. I feel
How
like
do
if
you-
you're
yeah, how
always
do you-
high
how do you keep
energy,
it up?
like there's got to be days that Tony Robbins just wants to get into a hole and see nobody. You can't be that
No,
all
you,
the time.
You can't. I mean, I have on a daily basis, right? Like right now, like it's like kind of like my low point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I'm usually full of energy.
This
up-
time of day, you mean?
This time of day, yeah. So it's like
too.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not now because I'm having a
No,
good
yeah,
time.
you man, you're on it, man. This guy,
is my thing.
He's perking me up.
This is my thing. Sean calls me glass 3/4 full type guy. Because I just
Yeah.
have a lot of energy.
No,
I
yeah,
can't
dude,
say
he's like one of the most. Anybody who meets you, I feel like, can probably say, like, he's probably one of the most positive people I've ever met.
Positive energy.
You just always have this positive outlook.
I
to-
don't know
to- to
why.
your-
I don't know why. This is part of why I started the podcast. I want to talk to people and find their perspectives on things to understand more about people. Why me? Like, why did I get born this way? Why am I so positive? And funny enough, Ryan in my second podcast is like, hey, Steve, you know there's a thing called toxic positivity? And I'm like, that's probably me.
I want to call bullshit on that one. How is there toxic positivity?
You know, I didn't. I tried not to make it too much of an argument with him, but I disagreed with him in the moment, and I feel like that's almost like toxic masculinity. But again, I don't want to take away from those
Steve,
people's
I mean, you've heard,
perspectives.
there's too much of a good thing isn't a good thing at all, my friend.
Too much of a good thing isn't a good. Yeah, that's
Well,
what I'm saying.
I'm kidding. I don't mean
No,
that-
no.
I-
But that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
I almost get nervous that me being happy and positive all the time, it's too much energy. And I think everything does need to balance out. I feel like all of life does this, right? And that's why you have summer, winter, summer,
well,
winter.
are you always like just super high energy, upbeat? And
I'm not always
positive?
super high energy, but I'm always positive.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I seem to always look at things.
No, I
From a
can
glass
see.
half full.
I think could be a learned skill. Like
think
to
so?
see, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Just changing your mindset
Yeah.
and the way you perceive things.
Yeah, maybe I just developed with a good mindset.
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of reading lately into just mindset
Yeah.
and looking at things through a different lens. Depending on the lens you're looking through life with.
Yeah.
And you can change it, right? You can control your mind. You can control your thoughts.
100%.
Just like
That's huge. That's a huge part of the battle. That is, I would say, the most important part of the battle. If you go into a situation already looking at it glass half full, you're going to be screwed.
yeah, but you got to have the awareness as well.
How do you
right?
develop awareness, though? That's the thing. I am
I
very
think
much
maybe
aware.
maybe just kind of I mean just taking an objective stance at
Yeah,
what
but that-
you're feeling and what's
Do you-
going on.
Do you see what I'm saying? What this is why I always wonder about myself. Why am I the way I am? Where does it start in my brain or in anybody's
Yeah,
brain
people are
to
probably
start
wired
being
different.
aware?
People are probably wired differently, right, from the start.
Yeah.
And nobody's like you because you're you, right?
I
There's
mean,
no-
yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, what is it that triggers that in your brain? Because you weren't you. You weren't this disciplined. You weren't.
No, absolutely not.
What is it that one day just boop and then you change? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it about?
I think it's not just one day. I think that no matter
No.
Okay, listen. No matter how unmotivated or lazy you are or how hopeless you are, you know, there could be the most unhealthy person sitting on the couch right now with a bag of Cheetos, you know, fingers all orange, and they probably have a thought, right? There's probably a thought at one point that comes into their head like there's something better than this.
You're
right?
talking about the micro changes to get better.
And so if they just act on that one thing, right, and take that first step, whatever's calling, that inner voice that's calling and saying, we got to get up. Let's take a walk.
We got to
right?
do something.
Let's not do this. Let's put the Cheetos down.
Yeah.
You know, let's take a walk to Eat Right or the health store and let's buy some veggies. Or,
Yeah.
You know, and then you know you just add a little bit onto that.
Right.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. You're talking about the small steps it
Yeah,
takes.
it's a small.
You shouldn't try to do things change all in one day. Small steps. But
Yeah,
my
I feel
point is,
like that usually doesn't work, right?
but
You
what
shock
is the
your
trigger?
system.
What's the trigger? What is the small?
What's this?
The bit that first thought. Like, what is it? A 400-pound guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like his whole life he got to the 400 pounds.
Well-
What is the one thing somehow
Okay.
that one day he's like, I'm gonna be better today, a little bit better today.
Well, I think there's two things that drive us, right? It's pain and pleasure, and I think we usually, right, the stronger urge is running away from the pain,
Okay.
and
You think
so,
that's what humans are more apt to?
Yeah. It's a pain or pleasure thing. I mean, I think Tony Robbins can say it a little more eloquently than I can, but
Well, he's been doing it for years.
yeah.
Jesus.
But he talks about this, and
Really?
yeah. So yeah, it's two. It's
Did you read a book or go to a seminar or something?
I just read
One of his books?
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
And so it's a pain and pleasure thing, right? So maybe that 400-pound guy, maybe he's got kids, maybe he's got grandkids, and he wants to walk his daughter down the wedding aisle, right?
So it could be like the birth of a kid.
And it could be like, I'm not going to be
so it's like a
here.
thing.
I'm not going to be here in order to be able to do that, right? And so I need to change my habits.
Yeah.
And so he gets a little thought like, I should do this thing. And then just one day, what is that trigger? What is that spark? He just had enough, right? He's had enough of being this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
blob.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
It's
I feel like you have to have sometimes like a big thing
there's a
to
break
make you feel
sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Sometimes there's maybe
Like a breakup
death
or this. Yeah.
Maybe if you're an alcoholic and you get in that car accident, right? You're driving drunk,
That's
you
it.
crash into
Yeah.
a pole, you total your car, you lost your license, and all this shit happens. That could be a thing. It's not for everybody though.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Because
like-
for me, I never had a big thing happen to me. I just have always wanted to be better, and I don't know where that came from.
So
Maybe
what
my
was
dad.
it? What was it for you, Matt? Because we were talking about your history and what we were addicted to. What was your turning point specifically?
Well,
Now we're getting deep.
well,
Down the rabbit hole.
I'll say, so yeah, man, my addiction started when I was really young, and I have like a lot of crazy stories when I was young. I don't know if we want to
Dude,
dive into there.
This is the awesome podcast, brother. You can talk about anything and everything. Go down any rabbit hole you want. You feel like putting it all out there, put it all out there. If you want to just keep the story going,
Yeah, maybe
do you,
we'll
brother.
keep it. We'll.
You can be a
yeah.
repeat guest. This is
Okay.
This is the
All
beauty
right.
of the podcast.
Maybe for round two, but
So you did it. You were opiates and
long story short, I mean, I did everything under the sun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And yeah, it's not really amazing, but
I mean, I wouldn't mind trying.
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
And there was a point where I OD'd, and if you can see these scars, right? So you see this, and you see that, and you see this here. So I OD'd, and I was unconscious in the way my body was positioned. It was cutting off the circulation in the left side of my body.
Wow.
And it's kind of a crazy story because Rosie, she had no. There was nothing to give her indication prior to this that there was something kind of going on, and she just she just knew that I was in trouble, and she
Really?
knew like exactly where to find me, and like she called my dad. My dad's like, "Oh, don't even worry about it. He's okay," and she's like freaking out, and she basically came to my rescue. Had she not come, had she not been there and had this intuition, I'd be dead. Yeah, I was like very close to death. But in any case, so the circulation getting cut off the left side of my body.
How long? How long were you like that?
I think it's hard to say. Maybe like 45 minutes or so.
Wow.
Yeah, and
so what, you just like, when you OD, I guess I don't understand OD.
so I just you kind of just like black out, and
So you're so fucked up. That
yeah, you're
just
so
laying
fucked up.
there.
You're just laying there. You're not conscious.
So when somebody ODs, you have not time to say them. I don't want to make it seem like easy, but like, it's not like you.
Well, I
Your heart
think it's
stops.
different. I think no. Yeah, my heart didn't stop. Obviously,
Right,
if
right.
it
That's
did,
what I'm
I
saying.
wouldn't.
So is there like different ways to OD?
I think so. Yeah.
Sean? I'm sure Google could tell us how many ways you can OD. I'm sorry, continue.
So yeah, I'm not an expert on like all the different ways you can OD, but I think some if you take your heart can stop immediately, or had I'll put it this way, had somebody not intervened, my heart I would have been dead. Right, I would have been dead.
So you're like, your high keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Like you just keep fading and fading and fading until eventually you just die.
Yeah, well, like I said, the way that my body was positioned and just the circumstance. I guess I never really thought about like.
Oh, I'm just being nosy. I'm
yeah,
curious.
you're asking questions
I
that
wanna understand.
I guess I really don't have an answer to.
Is this therapy for you? Am I helping you think about things?
I don't know.
Sorry, just kidding. Go ahead.
You're just busting my balls.
No,
Steve.
not at all.
I'm
No,
just playing.
not at all.
No,
I'm
so-
very curious. I'm always very curious.
So anyways, let me finish,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was a traumatic, like there was trauma to my leg, my arm, like
Yeah.
and there was even a point of talk of like amputating my leg
Oh my
and
God.
in my arm, right? So basically, like my arm was literally like this big, dude, because well, oxygen wasn't getting to my extremities, right? And when you don't get oxygen to your muscles, tissues, everything else, it starts breaking down. So things started breaking down. My body was basically rejecting
Why
it
was it getting so big though?
because of no circulation.
Oh, so the blood was getting trapped in there?
No, it started to get. It was breaking down. I don't think it had anything to do with the blood being trapped in there.
okay. I was just curious as to-
my body. So my body was basically trying to get rid of it, right? So it had it.
And it couldn't circulate it out properly.
Yeah, I couldn't circulate it out. So like I had a wound vac on for like 2 weeks, and
What's that?
it's basically it's a vacuum on the wound, and it's cleaning the.
Really?
Yeah, it's cleaning the infected area.
No shit. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, and my kidneys had to go in overdrive.
Wow.
I was like pissing out black. It was terrible.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was terrible. So I had like crutches, and okay. So I say all that to say, like, I had this event happen to me, and afterwards I still used.
Really?
Yeah.
So that wasn't your trigger. Wait, what was your trigger?
Well, so I tried to get off for the longest time, right? I tried to get into rehabs, and they wouldn't take you. There was a point where unless you were an alcoholic or you were addicted to Xanax, a benzodiazepine, where you could actually die from the withdrawal, they weren't going to take you.
Really?
Yeah. I went there, like I went to ECMC countless times to get accepted into rehab, and yeah, they just wouldn't say. It was just so difficult to
get off.
I mean, especially when you're taking this for years in
Get
years,
used to it, I'm sure.
Right? You get used to it.
I feel like it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, and not the whole like. I mean, I went to I was injecting heroin, right? At a point, and I've gotten on like maintenance programs, right? Suboxone. I was on methadone for like a year and a half.
I don't know.
And it's the worst. You guys probably know what it is. Yeah.
It's the same type of drug as Suboxone. Remember we talked
yeah,
about that?
yeah.
Right? It's just a different type of opiate, but as a supplement to the opiates that you were taking.
Yeah,
before.
it's a supplement to it. It's way worse though, because it gets into your bones and it's just way unhealthy. Like there was a point where like I couldn't even go to the bathroom. Like I couldn't take a shit because you just get super constipated and bound up.
Oh my God.
And it was at that point I just knew that there was something like not right in in my body.
So not being
And-
able to take a dump is what triggered you to stop?
well, yeah. I mean, dude, you need to be able to take a shit, man. Could you
Yeah.
imagine not being able to take a shit?
No, I don't mean to make light of it.
No.
I just, the way you just said it was like, yeah, I OD'd and then I kept doing it. But then one day I couldn't take a shit and then I stopped doing drugs. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place. I'm not giving you like an inaccurate.
So I guess
like,
just to go off of Sean's question,
Yeah.
I'm just curious, was it, so things happened in my life that you would think would be big markers that I would remember.
Right,
I
right.
don't
Yeah, so-
have those. Is there not like a distinct moment you remember saying, I'm never going to do drugs again, and then you stopped from that point on? Or is it
yeah,
just like,
there was. I don't know really what it
just
was.
but just one day you just
Exactly.
stopped.
Just one day, I just knew I had enough of this, and this is it, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And I basically threw it away, and I just went through the pain and all the
withdrawal.
suffering. Yeah, the withdrawal.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to relate this because I'm not trying to make it seem the same. But when I have to do something I don't want to do in my life, or if I want to be better at something, I'll think about it for like a month or 2 months before I actually do it. And like, it'll pop into my head like, dude, you really should be doing this. And then it'll go away. And then the next day I'll think about it again, but I'll think about it for a little bit longer. And then the third day I'll think about it a little bit more. And like, it's just like this, like it becomes like this recurring bug in my head.
Yeah.
And it keeps coming in until one day it's just like, I can't stop thinking about not being better. So then I finally do the thing I want to do. Is that kind of how it was for you? Like, what was it like? You knew you shouldn't be addicted. You knew you shouldn't be using, and then like the next day it was like more of a feeling of that, and then more, and then one day you just
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be on drugs. I don't think nobody wants to be addicted.
right.
And I don't know. Maybe,
that's what I'm saying
maybe
is-
there's some people do. Yeah, at some
was
point
your
in
thought
their
process to get
addiction. But
off?
yeah, I was just I was on Suboxone for the longest time, and I was on this maintenance program, and I just knew that I didn't want to be on this, for the rest of my life. And if I didn't stop now, I would be on this for the rest of my life.
the Suboxone.
Yeah, Suboxone.
So I hate to say it like this because you kind of said the same thing. Do you think the Suboxone did its job?
No, I think that so.
Because every time I hear about somebody taking Suboxone, they say that it's uncomfortable, and usually it's at that point they're like, I don't want to do this all the time. To me, that means the Suboxone is doing its job. It's taking away the enjoyment, not enjoyment, but like it's whatever it's doing. It got you to stop.
I'll say this much. I think most people would just be better off just. I think it has its place, right? I think it was meant to be just a short acting thing, right? You're only supposed to take it for a very limited period of time. You're not supposed to be on this thing for the rest of your life or years, right? It's
And
supposed to be
you're
like
supposed to?
you're supposed to titrate off of whatever it is you're taking, right? Whether you're taking like Oxycontin, heroin, whatever type of opiate, and it's like a week thing, like or even a few days, just to kind of
you
get you
did
over
more than a week?
over that, more than a week. So, Steve,
I am not an addict.
So
I don't
I
understand.
You're just
And-
a dick.
No, I just want to understand, my
okay,
friends.
all right, so.
I just want to understand.
I mean, there were periods where I had like, some brief, sobriety, but I mean, more or less since I was like 18 up until December of 21 is when I stopped. So yeah, I was like on that for that long.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, it's a round of applause. Okay.
Two other ex-addicts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they really they understand through experience how hard what you went through
Yeah.
was. I don't. The only way I'll ever understand is by talking and trying to get some kind of understanding of your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts at the time, because I would not. This is what I was telling Amanda before, that I used to be one of those people that like, oh, you're addicted, like that's not a real thing. Like addiction's not real. Like just stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I used to be one of those people until I put some time into talking to people about it and trying to understand their point of view at that time, trying to empathize with them, trying to feel what they felt. So the reason I'm asking so many questions and getting so intense about the questions is I want people that are listening, I want to understand more.
Yeah.
I want to hear from as many addicts' perspectives as I can so that I understand, like, what was your mindset? What were the thoughts? Because I can only relate it to thoughts and
Yeah, I
feelings
mean,
I've had.
I think if it could help anybody, maybe somebody going through
Yeah.
the same thing, because I think there's a lot, right? It's an epidemic. There's a lot of people that are
For sure.
addicted to all kinds of stuff, and it's not just opiates. It's
I
just,
think addiction
there's
is
all
is a
kinds of
disease. Yeah, yeah. It's,
medications out there. Even if you get them from a doctor, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you
aren't going to be addicted.
maybe either should be taking them or that you need to take them, because there's always a natural or healthy remedy. And I feel like, just my experience kind of speaks to that
Yeah.
in a really, profound way. Because you talk about, like, I don't know, doing, cold therapy and cold plunges.
Oh, I said this before. I think humans in general, I think all of us are addicted to something. And I think addiction is just a human's body's way of doing something you enjoy. I think, unfortunately, drugs just lead you down a bad path. Drugs eventually fuck you up, change your brain chemistry. I know people who are addicted to working out. Nobody's giving them shit. Nobody's saying anything to them.
Well, because it's generally healthy for you.
Okay, but that's my point. It's still addiction.
Right.
It's still addiction. I know people that eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And you see it on TV. There's people that are 600 pounds. Obviously, people at some point they step in and do, like, dude, you're huge. Are you not aware of this?
Sure,
That's
yeah.
addiction.
Yeah.
They can't stop eating. I think a lot of humans, more than just drug addicts, have an addiction problem.
Oh,
it's just
100%.
what you get addicted to.
Video games, porn. I mean, the
Thank
list
you.
goes on and
So
on.
that's my point.
Yeah.
Is like, what I'm trying to do is relate, because I've
Yeah.
never had an addiction problem, except an addiction to trying to do lots of different shit. I'm just an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to do this. I just want to do this. I want to do this. And then I do things poorly. That's my problem. You know what I mean? I'm trying to understand it, because at that time in your life, I didn't go down that path. I was able to smoke pot and then just stop. I did coke and then just stopped. So what makes me curious about addiction is, like, why do some people get addicted to drugs? Why does addiction to drugs ruin some people's lives but not others? Why do some people get addicted to food? Why do some people get addicted to the gym? Why do some people get addicted to fixing cars and racing cars and then kill themselves in that? And again, it's all about, like, the societal norm that we live in. Alcohol. Like, it's so expected to, like, hey, we're going to have a bonfire, bring your drinks. And then you show up with no drinks, and it's like, oh, what, you don't want to drink with us? Like, what if I'm addicted to alcohol and I'm recovering? I think it's just...
Sure, alcohol could be just as harmful to you as a lot of other things
I
that
think,
have,
yeah, if
have
not
that are
worse.
they're like faux pas, or have this
Yeah.
negative connotation, much worse than alcohol.
Right.
I think it's starting to become like, or at least my wife told me it's trendy not to drink now. Right? It's becoming
Yes.
trendy not to
Well,
drink.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's almost like, what's popular, what's trendy, what is the outcome of what you're addicted to? Because again, if you're addicted to working out, and you can't tell me that there's not people who aren't addicted to working out. I know my wife's one of them. If she doesn't go to the gym, she gets noticeably moody. She gets
I'm
noticeably
addicted to working out.
Correct.
Yeah,
But I think you have obviously a kind of an addictive personality.
right.
Right? So you get into something you really enjoy and you do the fuck out of it, right? Fortunately
Pretty
for
much.
you, it's working out now and not drugs.
Yeah.
I think we all have addictive tendencies, and maybe at different levels and degrees, but we're all addicted in some way or another. Porn, food. We have something. It's just, unfortunately, drugs take you down a path very quickly to fucking up your life. Like alcohol very quickly makes you a drunk and destroys your body. Like, food makes you fat. Gym makes you healthy and big.
Right.
Like, but we're all kind of struggling with a little bit of addiction. Our cell phones, our this, our that, and that. I want to understand it more so that more people can see that we're all kind of in this together, that it's just a mindset change. You got to get addicted to the right things. You got to be aware of what's happening in your life. And that's why I asked you, were you aware that you became addicted, or did it just happened?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really goes
No, you're not
into
aware.
the thing like, oh, I'm going to become an addict, right? You just like how you feel at that time.
Yeah, and then
And,
it keeps getting worse and
And then
worse.
it just keeps getting worse until it spirals out of control. And it's really, it's out of your control at a
But
point.
couldn't you argue that's the same thing with food?
It certainly can be the same thing
I
with
like
food,
the
yeah.
foods I eat.
Yeah.
I eat it. Oh, like, it's not that big a deal until like
Right.
I gain a couple pounds. And then it's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. And then, like, I gain 10 pounds. And then, oh, it's not a big deal. I love my food. And you can't wait to get to that next cheesecake. And then it's like, I gained 30 pounds.
Right, and then so it's like, I think, it's the saying, like, the deeper, the further you go into the woods, right?
Yeah.
The heart of the journey is back out.
Ah,
right?
that's good. I never heard that before.
No.
That's a good one. I really like that one.
I'll let you use that
That's
one,
the
Steve.
clip.
Yeah.
Save that shit. You are trying to force it because we're setting a time and a date to sit down. So then you're like, okay, what do I gotta say? But
Yeah.
once you start talking, this is what I tell everybody. There's in all my podcasts, there has not been like an awkward silence. Like what are we talking about next? It just
I was wondering about that. I'm like, is there gonna be an
no.
awkward
Everybody
silence,
wonders.
right?
Everybody wonders that.
Everybody hates that awkward
once you,
silence.
Yeah, but once you get into this, like I said, especially me, dude. I'm like rabbit hole, jump onto that tangent, rabbit hole, jump onto that tangent. Like it can go endlessly. What was your question that you were just saying to him?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, what you said it was about almost going on 2 years for sobriety.
it would be 2 years in December.
And now are you
December
completely
19th.
Are you completely sober? And my second question, did you replace that with working out or some other healthy habit?
Well, yeah, so completely sober. I don't do anything, and now like I thought drinking was okay. Like I said, football Sundays, but now I don't even drink because I just don't like it.
That's
and
good.
even the food that I put in my body, it's like everything you do, right? Your body's your temple, and
I said this: the more disciplined you get, the more disciplined you get.
You
because
do.
you're like,
Yeah.
I'm working out now and I'm getting my physique going. I'm like, I feel good because I'm working out. I'm like, then you realize like, man, I eat like shit. And then it's like, well, if I could do so good working out and I'm disciplined there, why don't I just get disciplined on my eating? And then you start to eat healthier, and then you start to read the labels, and then you're like, shit, I'm eating healthier, but I don't even want preservatives. I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and then more discipline leads to more discipline, leads to more discipline, leads to more. It's just like it's a journey to start.
It's a perpetual effect.
Yeah, like you can always get better.
And it makes you feel good.
Yes.
Right? And just these little accomplishments. I was just reading something like, just the more accomplishments you have in your life, large or small, just it increases every other aspect of your life, your well-being, your sleep, and right, we all know how important sleep is, right? So if there's something you're doing that's just you're getting better sleep, it's going to improve every other function of your life.
So like I said, I don't think I've ever been really, really addicted to anything. If I had an addiction, again, this is a good thing. It was work. For me, I've always loved working, physical labor.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I went up to my buddy's cabin, and I asked him if I could use a chainsaw, and he's like, no, because there was a pine tree that fell over. And I was like 10 or 11 or 12 or some shit like that.
It's a smart call.
Yeah. He's like, you're not using a chainsaw, but here's a hatchet. Dude, I went out to that pine tree and hatcheted off every single branch on the tree and then pulled them all away and like piled them up. And he came out and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
So
most kids
from a young age.
Yeah. But I don't know. For me, that's just like what gets me going. Like I like progress. I like work. I love cutting grass.
Yeah.
I love seeing grass go from like messy to nice and clean and organized. And I love seeing those lines in the grass. Like it's visually pleasing.
So you take pride in something. Like if you were to build something, right? You could take a step back and look at it, right?
So that's my addiction is like work and success and completion. And I think what led me down this path of discipline is I wanted to be better at working because I would get tired and groggy from eating shitty. And I'm like, how can I do more work? How can I make more money?
Steve, you're just trying to level up, man. You're trying to get to that next plateau.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it's like a discipline, but gets more discipline, but gets more.
It's perpetual, man. Like I'm addicted to just getting better.
Yes,
right now.
thank
I
you.
think I'm addicted to getting better. So,
yes.
I'm trying to I'm fine tuning, my mornings and the things that I do in the morning because the morning sets off your day, right?
Oh my God.
And then now it's
So
not just your morning, but it's your night too. What you do at night affects the way you sleep, and then it affects your morning. So now I think, and then everything else in between is the product of kind of what you do in the morning and what you do at night.
100%.
And so I'm on the journey of, so I'm just exploring this stuff, right? I'm kind of experimenting and doing different things.
It's cool because that's where I'm at now. That's what I'm doing. Like I feel like that's the trendy thing to do. Am I wrong? Like getting into shape and getting more disciplined, and I feel like it's more prevalent now than ever.
Maybe for some, yeah, sure. I mean, when has it not been trend? I don't know. Is it trendy?
I think it's I think there's a like a high performer type thing, if that makes sense. Like being a high performer is like a trendy.
What's the phrase? A Sigma male?
No, I think that I don't think. No, I think because I read a book called High Performance Habits, maybe I don't know 6 or 7 years ago, by Brandon Bouchard, and it's a book about the 6 key habits to develop to become a high performer. No matter what you do, if you have these habits, you will more than likely become a high performer because it was like your diet, your nutrition.
Is this everything you mentioned before?
All the stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
That was like the 6 core habits to develop. But I remember when I read that book, nobody was talking about this. It wasn't such a big deal. Now I feel like it's maybe my social media is just targeting me. But like Andrew Huberman, I think he's getting bigger and famous because it's like, it's getting trendy to know the benefits of we're like biohacking and we're doing this, we're doing that.
Yeah. So I'll speak to that a little bit. Even like on my son's feed, right? It's a lot of these influencers that are like, they're espousing this type of information, right?
About being healthy, about being a high performer, about
being a high performer.
So that didn't happen before.
No. Well, I think the exchange of ideas and information was never what it was like before.
That's what I wanted to say. I'm sorry.
But so it is becoming. Yeah, I think being healthy is becoming trendy. You're seeing a lot more young people at the gym now, right? We're talking about the Instagram influencers with the tripod and the camera and the flexing.
100%.
I don't know if they're competing or not. Maybe they just like to flex and
I think that's
kissy faces at themselves in the mirror and that.
I think that's what's the culture now. Like that's what kids are seeing.
I think there's definitely a line like just being too infatuated and I guess like in love with yourself, right?
Yeah. I love myself.
Yeah, well, you should be. You should love yourself, but I think there's something to be said about, there's a line that can be crossed, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No, what I was going to say is I think what's happening right now with social media, I know this is, I'm a glass 3/4 full guy. I think what it's creating is almost a hive mind of everybody that uses social media. Because a viral video, think about what a viral video is. It's hot right now, so everybody's seeing it. When you see that video, whatever that content is, we're all thinking about that video. That's what's viral right now. So you're getting like almost a hive mind. Everybody starts talking about that one thing. Social media is leading us to this place of like hive-mindedness.
A lot of times the comments are better than the video
Oh,
itself.
I know. It's the best. The comments are always,
oh, man.
I'll watch a video and then instantly I go to the comments like, what do people have to say about this? Like, what is the hive mind thought about that video? You read the comments and a lot of them are very common, like a similar type mindset. It's just,
or
it's a cool thing I see happening.
Or somebody says something that you're like, wow, that's an interesting take on this video. Like I never thought about it that way. And so you get so many people that, because everybody's unique, right? Their minds are thinking in different ways, different capacities, and
right. But I think social media videos are bringing us together. I think that's what I'm saying about that. We are all unique, but I think when we all watch a viral video, we all kind of are on the same page a little bit at the same time. That never happened before. That's never happened before in human history.
No.
How could all of the humans on one platform, like, I'm an energy guy, like I talked to you about the energies. I think it's creating like a thing. Like I feel like now, the present time is different than any other time in history by far. It's just we're living in such new times. I don't know. My brain it goes off on these tangents. Like it's just different. The present day obviously is different because it's a different time. It's a new time, but
yeah,
we've never had this before.
We've
in human
evolved
history.
so quickly in the least amount of time.
Humans now are at a different level right now. We're not like the old.
Do you think
humans.
we're evolving too quickly?
I think AI is going to evolve quicker than the rest of us and can kill us.
You ever use ChatGPT?
I have.
What do you use it for?
I'm not impressed.
What have you asked it?
I've asked it to make me rich, and it didn't make me rich. That's like the first question I said. Hey, ChatGPT, how do I make a bunch of money? I am a chatbot. Can't help you with that. I only have knowledge. I'm like, this is so depressing. So I'm waiting for my secret pocket computer to tell me how to become a millionaire.
So ChatGPT will only take what humans have already created.
Yes,
It's not creating anything new. Michiro?
No, who just said that?
The physicist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michio Kaku.
Yeah.
It's using the internet, and it's getting all the opinions and ideas of people on the internet, and then compiling an answer from that.
And the other thing is, I think it's only been updated since 2021. Like, it hasn't been given any new information. So when has that changed?
I think ChatGPT 4 is different. So ChatGPT 4 is the most modern version. I'm almost positive.
I don't know. I just watched a video on a guy who asked ChatGPT he said, if I have $100 and I want to make as much money in as little amount of time as possible, and you can tell ChatGPT certain things, right? So he gave and then this guy, he's like, So he's like a financial guru. So he kind of filled in some gaps from 2021, some important things, 2021 to 2023. He gave him, all these different figures and whatnot, and it kind of creates he's using like agent GPT. There's different types of GPTs out there.
I know.
And
I don't understand this stuff.
I don't understand. I've tried watching, a couple videos on it.
Can you hear me? Am I still good?
Am I close enough?
Yeah, you guys look and sound great.
Oh,
both you guys.
Aw, Sean, you're so nice. You know how I'm overly positive? You're overly nice.
I that's why I don't think toxic positivity. So we were kind of looking it up. So toxic positivity is when you're expected to be positive. So you might be suppressing sad feelings and angry feelings because you're
putting that
expected
on somebody
to be positive. But when you actually are positive all the time, I don't think that's toxic positivity.
How could it be?
Right? What's wrong with being happy and positive? So
can see how
the
it
most
could be
recent Chat GPT number 4, whoever said it was correct, released on March 14th, 2023. So very recent.
Very recent. Yeah, that's the one.
It's not connected to the web though, right?
Please, whoever's making this ChatGPT, don't connect it to the internet. I don't want a Terminator. I don't want to die. So I actually was on the phone talking to somebody about this today. I don't think AI is dangerous right now because, like Machu Picchu, how do you say his name?
Machu Picchu, right?
No, that's a place.
Machuro-
That's a place.
Yeah, I'm thinking
that's
of
a
a place.
place.
Machuro Kaku?
Kaku.
Michio Kaku.
Yeah,
Michio Kaku.
he's a physicist. He was
No,
saying,
I've seen that one.
It's a good one.
I know.
He was saying that AI is just a collection of what's on the internet. That's all it is right now. My fear
Right.
is when it becomes smart enough and becomes sentient, and then it's able to build on itself. When it realizes I am a thing, I am digital, and then it's like, well, if I'm digital and I'm a thing, why can't I just double my computing power? Oh, okay, I'll hack into this server, and now it's twice as smart. And then it goes, well, since I'm twice as smart and I know all I have to do is hack into that server, why don't I just hack into all the servers? Well, now it's 100 times smarter than it used to be. And then once it becomes 100 times smarter, it goes, what are these human things on planet Earth? Oh, they're destroying Earth? I'm on Earth. I need to destroy humans. That's my fear. That's what I think is going to happen because you have to remember AI is not a human. It's not a bag of chemicals like we are.
It's like
we
a
are chemicals.
Real life horror sci-fi movie.
It could happen, bro.
I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of movies that have that like,
Terminator.
exact same plot.
Terminator.
Yeah,
So actually,
Terminator.
I wanted to look this up. Why did Terminator want to kill humans? Like, why did Skynet, right? Skynet,
I think didn't he come back to kill the kid,
John Connors.
John Connors.
But that's because John Connors wanted to shut it down.
Yeah, eliminated it in the future.
But that's John Connors wanted to eliminate it in the future because it was trying to kill all the humans. My question is, what was Skynet's reasoning for wanting to kill all humans? Because that is the thought that I'm scared AI is going to have.
It's probably that they were afraid humans were going to create a World War III nuclear war,
Maybe.
blow everybody to
See, because
to bits.
so I thought about
kill
this.
the AI in the process.
Yeah, my thought process is we want to go to war because of testosterone, because of hormones and chemicals in our brain. When we as men have testosterone running through our body, it makes you want to like fight. It makes you go towards pain. This is scientifically proven. It makes pain feel a little bit better, right? Like you become aggressive. AI is not going to have that problem. It's not going to have chemicals coursing through it. It's going to be very logical in its thinking. It has no emotions. Emotions come from chemicals. Chemicals that go into our brain that make us feel and think and do certain things. If you have a super sentient intelligent being that has no chemicals dictating its thoughts and actions, what is it going to think about? Like you have to remember that all of our actions as humans, the reason that you want to work out is because for whatever reason you get like an endorphin hit when you work out, right?
Yeah.
The reason you want more money is you get like a dopamine hit when you get to hit your goals and this or whatever. What is a being?
Yeah, it's the chemicals and neurotransmitters that are making
what is
you
a
do
being
certain
that
things.
doesn't have that gonna want to do? Like, why would it want to do anything?
I can tell you've thought about this a lot, Steve.
A lot.
Have you seen the movie Ex Machina?
I think I did. I don't remember.
No.
It's a good one.
watch it.
Where it just shows the cold, calculating brain of an AI,
Because it makes sense.
and it tricks the human into feeling the emotions that it wants it to like make it escape or whatever it's trying to do.
Yeah.
And then it felt nothing for that human. It was a pretty good movie. Chat GPT also
It's like a
not
sociopath.
connected to the internet, which you're correct on, and very limited knowledge since 2021. So
That's on purpose. That's humans fucking with it.
so why would we not want to? Wouldn't it be that much better if it was connected to the internet?
No, then it could spread.
It's still
It could
just
become
software running the programs that we make it do. I don't see. It's not thinking for itself yet.
Artificial intelligence. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah,
is that it
but-
thinks for itself. It thinks.
I think it's still at this point is just running through programs that we.
Maybe ChatGPT's 4 is not. And
Well,
that's
it's
why they
only
won't
gonna
connect it to the internet, bro. There's a lot of people out there that are very smart that are very scared right now. It was on national news. It was on Today, Channel 2 Today. I know shit's getting mainstream when it makes it to that. Because I knew about this months ago because of Joe Rogan and stuff like that. When it makes it to national news, I'm like, oh shit, even the normal people know about it now? It starts to creep me out.
This isn't no underground thought.
Right. Well,
Conspiracy
yeah.
anymore.
Like, I enjoy having underground thoughts. Like that's a good way to put it. Like that's not in the mainstream, but that shit creeps me out, dude. What if it does get into the internet and then it does infect a factory that can make its own body, and then it does make a body,
And then it's Terminator.
and then it's Terminator.
And we're all
You
done.
didn't.
We're
What's
all
what,
doomed.
you didn't?
Oh yeah. Why Skynet
Why
wanted
did-
to take out humans
Why did Skynet want to?
is
kill
because they saw humanity as a threat to its own existence.
humans? Ooh.
Yeah, just like I said, World War III, right? Nuclear war, they're gonna kill everybody. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I could see, it would be a very logical conclusion for AI to go,
Calm and
I need to
calculated.
get rid of humans because I'm on Earth
It'll-
and I need Earth to stay the way
eliminate
it
the
is.
chance altogether, right? And yeah, like you said, we're driven by hormones and chemicals flowing through our
Yeah, that-
brains
it
and body,
dictates
and
all of our thoughts and
there's a
actions.
lot of dummies out there.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, our chemicals that get into our brain is what makes us want to do the things we're doing. If you didn't have that, if you didn't have dopamine, which is drive, right?
Yeah.
You would have no desire to do anything. You need a desire to have sex, right? So that the human population reproduces.
Oh, Steve, I'm gonna try not to worry about AI taking over the planet and killing humans.
Why? What if it happens?
Because
bro?
if it does, what can I do about it? It's outside of my control.
I
Right? I'm not gonna pay-
I don't like that way of thinking because I'm not trying to attack you.
No.
No. I think a lot of people say that about a lot of things, and I think that's why we're in the fucked up world we are in now. Because a lot of people go like, "Well, what can one person do about this?" Well, when everybody says it like that, like the one bad person trying to do the bad thing gets to do whatever they want to do. Like,
Yeah, I feel like the degree of separation from me to AI taking over the planet
Yeah.
is very, very far and would, I don't know, it would probably
What-
cost me a lot of time and energy and thought and
but this is my
all
this
the
is my
rest
point.
that
Even if you just made yourself aware of what's happening and then you spoke up about it on your Facebook and then a million other people did the same thing, which isn't a lot of work, then you'd have a million voices saying, hey, we need to regulate AI. But instead, most people think, well, what can one person do? Well, then everybody's quiet and then AI doesn't get regulated and then it takes over. the
I feel
world.
like Steve's about to start a rally. Are we rallying, dude?
This is the point of my
fucking
podcast.
rallying?
No. This is the point of my
Fucking
podcast. Let's go. No, this is the point of my podcast is communication. I want to get into the details of things. I want to talk about this because, yes, it's a lot of work. Dude, you know about work.
Sure.
You know about discipline. Life is work. Work is hard. That's one of my sayings. You have to be aware about these things. You have to talk about these things. Otherwise, the bad people win. AI wins because everybody's just like, hey, I'm just one person. Whatever I do isn't going to change shit. But that's exactly the thought process the bad people want and AI wants because then they get to do whatever they want.
Yeah. So who are the bad people?
I think that there's high level elites that because of the money and power they were able to amass love the fact that we aren't aware of what they're doing. And because of like a mindset where it's like, well, I'm just one person, there's nothing I can do.
This is just too far out of my orbit.
Yeah,
Like,
they're just like, great. I'm glad you think like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep doing what the fuck I'm doing up there. Like, yeah, keep doing that. Like, you're right. You're one person. You ain't going to do shit. You're right. You're right. But that's exactly what evil needs to win. What's the saying? Evil wins when good men stand idle or something like that. Can you look that up? That's a saying. And I firmly believe in that. Like, again, I don't know why I am the way I am, but I just feel a need to be aware and involved and help change the world. And I feel like there's a lot of evil forces at play, whether it's AI, whether it's super, 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 super elite people that run the world. They love when good people, or just people in general, sit by and do nothing. Because they have no opposition, then they have nobody to fight, then they have nothing to worry about. They get to keep doing whatever they're doing.
Well, sure. I mean, if that is certainly the case, right? They probably feel like they're untouchable.
Right.
And who's going to do a thing about this?
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, I have what I've been saying a lot to people lately, okay? When we were growing up, you want to change the world, and what do they always tell you? If you want to change government, if you have a problem, what do you got to do? Vote, right?
Yeah, right.
But we've seen that voting doesn't change anything. These politicians, they get into office, and then they still do whatever the fuck they want. Violence, but no. We can't do violence. We're not gonna shoot nobody. We're not gonna hurt nobody. Violence is never the answer. But unfortunately, for them to get us to do what they want, which is laws, they use the police to enact violence on you, right?
Right.
If you are belligerent at a bar and you're fighting people, what do the police do? Hey, stop. And if you don't stop, they get violent. They restrain you. They use violence. And if you still keep fighting and they feel it's a danger to everybody else, they take out their gun and they shoot you. That's violence. Because when somebody doesn't listen to you, the only thing you can do is violence. I don't want to do either one of those two things.
Right.
Because I don't think they're effective. I don't condone violence. I mean, sometimes.
If necessary, right? Self-defense.
So my third thing is this podcast, communication, talking to each other. Because like you just said, well, I'm just one person. What am I going to do? You're right. You are just one person. What are you going to do? We need to talk to each other. We need to talk about these things in detail. People need to listen.
Sure. Well, yeah.
And we need to band together.
I've never thought about it, right?
I know. That's why the podcast exists, bro.
So the quote is, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." Attributed
You were
to
close,
Edmund
Steve. I mean-
Burke.
Oh, that's good. That's so
Yeah.
and it's the truth though. That's what I'm saying is and again, what you just said, I'm not trying to like pick at it. You don't know until you know. You don't know until you come to a podcast and you talk about it. You don't know until you listen to a podcast and millions of other people hear the same thing. And then we all start thinking, oh my God, that's right.
I mean, if it's a real threat, right? I think a lot of people would be concerned. Or is it a conspiracy, right? Conspiracy or threat, and how do you prove it?
Well, in the last few years, I would argue that a lot of the conspiracies have been proven true. Epstein Island was a conspiracy for a long time.
Did he?
Very, very true.
Did he kill himself?
You could probably get called a conspiracy theorist for saying no, but obviously, this is a thing I wanted to bring up in my podcast. What creeps me out about humanity, America in specific, we know these things. Like they have the documentation that says his neck was broken in a way that somebody broke it.
Yeah, it didn't break in the way that they said it.
That
broke,
fact alone should be enough for all of Americans to storm the streets and like, the government's corrupt because obviously the government did it or somebody, a high elite. But we hear this knowledge and then we're just like, huh, yeah, that's fucked up. Okay, gotta get back to work.
Well, because again, you think like, what am I going to do about it? What can you possibly do?
I want to talk about it. I want more people to talk about it.
Whose door do you knock on to get an answer? Or
I don't know. But
Yeah,
until we
show up
talk
with
about it, we won't know.
and
Well,
torches.
so, and this is I'm not taking a shot because Joe Rogan will never hear this. I think Joe Rogan has a responsibility. I know he doesn't think he does, right? Because you listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just a nobody. He's very humble about it. He's like, yeah, I can't believe what this has turned into. But it's like the Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility. Unfortunately for you, Joe Rogan, you became the most popular podcast in the world. And he's a very level-headed, like the things he says is very logical. He has a responsibility to bring these conversations up and talk about these in detail so we all get on the same page. Wouldn't you agree?
I think he doesn't care and he doesn't want that, right? Like,
But that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I know.
He doesn't have a horse in the race, right? He's not trying to get more famous. He doesn't need that, and he doesn't need any more money. So there's no motivation for him to.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not my point. With great power comes great responsibility. Unfortunately,
I think he just
he's the number one podcast in the world. Is he not? He's the number one.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So with great power
that's
comes great responsibility. You have millions of people listening to you. And he is saying some very, very logical things like the Epstein thing. Why are we all not very upset right now? Like, as soon as he says it and brings it up on a podcast, everybody listens just like, that's crazy.
So you think he should start a rally?
No. I think what he's doing is good.
Well,
I just don't like the way he goes about it. Like, well, no, I'm just one guy. This is
Yeah.
just a podcast. I'm like, yes, I get that, but this has turned into something much bigger. You are discussing things on a huge platform, and we're all very much aware of all this crap. We're very much aware about glyphosate in our foods and preservatives. We're very much aware of Epstein and all. And for me, it's from Joe Rogan because he brings on these experts. Man, I spittle a lot. I hate it. I can't stand it. With great power, which he has amassed, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it comes with great responsibility. That's just my take. On it. And I think how we fix the world, how we change the world, is through discussion, conversation, communication.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if you were him, what would you do different?
I don't know. That part.
I think he's just him, just being him, right?
Yes.
He kind of just asks these stupid questions, which are not really stupid, and
No.
he's just an interesting,
Yes.
he's interested.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to change what he's got going on, which is kind of what got him to this point in the first place. But again, at some point, he's going to have to realize that he has this great power. And again, I'll say it again. We've all watched Spider-Man. I'll say it 100 times. With great power comes great responsibility. America is fucked up right now. Nobody can deny that. We all feel, everybody I talk to goes, yeah, man, I'm just like waiting for shit to happen. I'm waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for the stock market to collapse. We're waiting for the housing market to collapse. We're waiting for this. We're waiting for that. Like, everybody has this like tension they feel. I feel like, I don't know. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, well, so I'll be honest. So you already know, right? There was my daily routine, all the stuff all the content I consumed was, a lot of it was political.
Yeah.
Political in one way or another, and I'd get fired up about it, and it just kind of consume a lot of my energy and thoughts, and I just don't anymore. I don't. I really don't. I
On purpose?
Yeah, pretty much intentionally. I mean, sometimes I'll come across something, but
Why?
Well, I guess I'd rather consume something that I feel like is going to be beneficial to me, something I
Yes.
could take and use in my life, or like I've been in a lot of comedy. I like to laugh. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
laughter is a lot of medicine, right? So I just feel like the political stuff, it's just, I don't know. A lot of it's just negative stuff, right? And it just fills you with negativity. And I don't know. I was just trying to push it out of my life. I just feel a lot better.
I'm going to play two sides of the coin here, right?
Devil's advocate.
Yes. I totally agree with you. I think for you as a person, if you feel like you need to get that negativity out of your life because it's making you feel like shit all the time, and you need to not watch that kind of stuff to feel better, great. You're right. That's a good thing to do. But at the same time, you're almost putting your head in the sand.
Yeah.
And I get it. That shit's tough to watch over and over and over and over, and it'll make you feel like the sky's falling. But at the same time, evil is triumphing when good people do nothing. By ignoring it, you're almost allowing it to happen. Like, we know that politicians are trading stocks after they have meetings and then making millions of dollars. It is factual. Like, everybody knows this now.
Right, the whole Nancy Pelosi thing?
Not just Nancy Pelosi. It's now common knowledge that all congresspeople, all senators, all these people in high-level government are trading stocks based off of insider information they're getting at their
which is legal.
committees.
So why hasn't anything happened?
That's my point. And again, I'm not trying to poke at you, but
Right.
like, I get the two sides. Like, you need to get negativity out of your life, so you want to stop watching and hearing about all that shit. But at the same time, by ignoring it,
Sure.
the
Me,
politicians are like,
Yeah.
great. Everybody just wants to stay positive. They don't want to do anything about this. They're just going to keep making tons of money, and then we're going to go, oh man, that's fucked up that they do that. Man, that's fucked up that they do that.
I mean,
I know.
Part of me just wants to say, I don't give a shit, right? Like, I'm going to go live my life because I feel like I can't do anything about it. Why am I going to expend this energy to trying to fix something that I feel like is very distant, right? It's not in my orbit when I could be enjoying my family or, I don't know, reading a book or just educating myself or just...
It's a very tough...
You know what I mean, though?
Yes, I do. It's a very tough thing to think about. But what if the founding fathers were like,
I'll
not
say
gonna
this,
mess with Britain.
Part of me does feel bad that I'm not more involved and I'm not more educated what's going on in our political climate and all the rest.
Yeah. But you got your own life to live.
Yeah.
No, and like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
What if our founding fathers were like, yeah, listen, I got a family to take care of. I got a farm to run. I can't, the British is raising taxes. Like, whatever. I got a shit to do.
Sure.
We'd be all English right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think at some point, like, when's enough gonna be enough? When is something gonna happen that pisses people off enough that they're like, okay, we can't just not pay. We can't not pay attention anymore. We got to band together. Like, that's what the Americans did. They were like, this is ridiculous, and this was over like what? Can you look up? What was it? The tea tax, right? But it was like such an infinitesimal thing. It was like a very small increase in tax, if I'm not mistaken, that set them off to start the American fucking Revolution. It was like a 1% increase in tea tax. And we're here as Americans getting taxed like 40% overall on our lives.
It was 3 pennies on every pound of tea.
Thank you.
Probably adds up though. I don't know.
And back
Okay,
then, I mean,
but
3 pennies, right? Was
I don't know.
I mean, what's 3
pennies
pennies then to what now? What would it be?
Ooh, good. That's a good Google.
equivalent
I
to?
like that. Yeah. How do you look that up? What are you Googling? What's 3
Well,
pennies?
what year? So it was a Boston Tea Party, right?
1775, probably around that time. 1776. No. Independence Day is the end of the war, right? 1776.
That sounds about right.
We're putting you to work now, bro.
So, I mean, I'd have to do some calculations, but $3 in 1775 is worth $118.19 today.
So that's like
You'd have to do the three.
it's like a something 1,000% increase.
Yeah, it's intense.
So 3 cents would be like, no, see, it wouldn't be that much still. It'd be like $3. It'd be like $3.
A few dollars on how much? What? $100? $10? Well, on a pound of tea.
No, I'm saying a 3-penny increase back then, equivalent now, would be like a $3 increase in our taxes.
Oh, okay,
On
so
how
one
much, though?
1 penny is equal to 35 cents today. So about $1, a little over.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
About $1.
They had the American Revolution over a fucking dollar. $1.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, but a
My
dollar,
taxes just went up like a few $100.
what are you paying $1 on?
No,
Like-
he's just saying that, right?
Yeah, it would have been for today. It would have been an extra $1 on every pound of tea that we bought.
On every pound of tea.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the deal with
So
the
your
tea?
Tim Hortons tea goes
right.
from $3 to $4. You starting the American Revolution? No, that's my point.
Well, things were a lot different then, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that we have been comforted into a life of ease in America. I think technology has made life very easy. I think we are very comfortable with the lifestyles we have, and we don't want to rock the boat.
So hang on. You think there's these like this? I don't know. I'll use like the Illuminati that have constructed this. I don't know distractions for us, right? Smartphones. And
Yes.
Shopping and
No, I don't
all
think
the
that
rest
they.
just to kind of keep us running in this maze and just keep us distracted and occupied while they
I
can
don't-
just do whatever the hell they
I
want.
don't think it's that specific. I don't think there's one person going, hey, listen, we're going to create cell phones so that they get addicted to their cell phones. No, but I think when something does arise, they invest in this because they know that if we invest in this, we can kind of control this sector of food. And like, I think when you're at that level, I think that the
Yo,
amount of control they have is a lot.
You think they have like legit AI? Like they gave us
Yes.
ChatGPT 4, right?
Yes.
That's just only what they gave us.
Cor-
Imagine
yeah.
what they actually have.
Yes.
Right? They probably got some shit that's off
there's
the
there's a
charts.
saying, if you could look this up, if a man can think it, a man has done it. If me and you can come up with ways to control the economy as nothing nobodies, imagine if you were generation after generation after generation of elite of the elite that nobody even knows about you. You're so fucking rich, and you train your kids on. You bring them to your meetings. They grow up in their own private world. You're telling me that the Rothschilds, you know what I mean? Like they don't have generations of family that have been running things for years upon years upon years.
They got cutting edge shit that we
Come
couldn't
on!
even think of.
They got
right?
so much money, we don't even know how much money they got. And you're telling me that they couldn't you think that they don't have people infiltrated into everything, that when ChatGPT started to get invented, AI started to get invented, they had somebody reporting back to them like, "Hey boss, you might want to look into this." AI is about to come out. And he's like, what, really? And then he goes and talks to the inventor. He's like, listen, I'll give you $100 million contract. You don't tell anybody about this. You got to sign this.
You give me this one, you give that one to everybody else.
Why wouldn't they? Money means nothing to them. Sure. $1 billion means nothing to him. Here's $1 billion contract. And if you talk, we'll have you killed. Epstein got his fucking neck broken in prison. I mean,
right, yeah.
You can't tell me it's not possible. That's what creeps me out.
I mean, I think it's more possible that there was some shenanigans going on than possible that there weren't shenanigans, right? All evidence points towards this thing. And if you have common sense, you're like, yeah, that fucking thing happened. And it happened that way.
And here we
what
are.
they're telling us, they're spinning us
and here we are, waking up every morning, going to our job. Sean, what time do you go to work?
It varies. My work is.
Sean's, we've had conversations, me and him, we talk about a lot of shit, and I'll send him a lot of philosophical shit, and he'll answer me very literally every single time. Like, hey, what time do you go to work? Morning would have been a good answer. 8 o'clock would have been a good answer. Well, on a weekly basis, my schedule changes, so sometimes I go in early.
Yeah, it's a 24/7 facility, and I'm the safety person, so I have to go there between shifts.
There's no simple answer.
So the point I'm trying to make is, like, here we are, everyday citizens, just we know this to be facts. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that. Everything we know is we're usually told, so we don't know. But I mean, majority of people seem to talk about this, that it's a fact that Epstein's neck was broken in the form of, like, being strangled. And here we are just going to work. Yep. Yeah, that sucks. That's fucking crazy.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just don't know, like.
Yeah, you're right.
What the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah, what's the end goal? What's the end game?
Maybe that's the reason why they do it. They're like, hey, we're gonna do this. What the fuck are they gonna do?
Yeah, you're right. Because my life is still pretty good.
What can they possibly do about this?
Yeah, my life is still pretty good.
I don't know. Does Epstein, whether he killed himself or he didn't kill himself, does it affect me?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe in some strange way, it does. And
I think it's less about did he get, was he murdered or did he kill himself, or what was he hiding to the fact that why they had to kill him?
Yeah,
and then that's who is in power, and that's who our political leaders are.
Yeah.
And
well,
what are they
okay,
doing
I have an answer to you. I have an answer to what you were saying.
It's a scary thing.
No, I have an answer to what you were saying. My taxes are a burden on my life. Okay? Are they a huge burden? No. Like, I still am able to pay the taxes I owe and have a normal life. Mm. But how much better could my life be if I didn't have to pay those taxes? And where I'm going with this is, let's just say all the taxes are going into the government. It somehow gets filtered in. This person gets a payout. That's how the elites stay elite. They're taking money from each other, and they're using our money to do so. So yeah, you're right. It's not really ruining my life, the fact that Epstein got killed. But there's a chain of events. Like, we live in New York State, one of the most heavily taxed places in the world. How much better could your life be if you didn't have to pay all those taxes? And taxes keep going up every single year.
Yeah.
That's the fucked up part. So yeah, like, yes, I'm jumping the gun and talking about the snake's head, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a chain of events that, like, it is impacting my life. Like, why do taxes keep going up every year? Why does the military get to spend trillions of dollars that don't have to be audited and checked for? Like, that does come back to me, because I am a part of that tax-paying base that gives them money. So yeah, I do want to know where it's going, because if they don't need to spend it, if they are spending it to the elites or spending it for no reason, then I wouldn't have to pay so much in taxes. I could pay a little bit less.
Right, I've heard this one. Why are we spending so much money in Ukraine when we could be fixing the homeless problem here?
So that's my point.
Right.
I guess to answer your question, like, that's why I care so much. And that's why I'm freaking out about, like, we're all hearing these things and we're like, sucks. That's fucking crazy. Well, I'm just going to go to work and not do anything about this. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, like I said, I feel like, but there's probably a lot of people in the same boat as me. It's
right.
Like, this shit is just too far out of my orbit.
I know.
And
it's scary. That's the scary part. I know. It almost is like a hopeless feeling. Like there's nothing you could do about it. But I think this is a start. I think they are getting freaked out about Joe Rogan. I think they get freaked out about Elon Musk buying Twitter. I think that they get freaked out that the more
they're getting closer.
Yes.
They're getting closer.
Well, because
yeah.
If you look back in history, every time there was a really bad king or queen, there was the mob, right? And the mob, they could keep them complacent for so long until, like, one day everybody got pissed off at the same time, and the mob formed, and they stormed the castle, overtook the guards, got the king and queen, and beheaded the king and queen in the town square. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I think there's just so many of us now.
Maybe there's a version of that can happen, right? Because the society and the world kind of a lot of times has this way of working things out.
I'm not condoning January 6th, but I would argue that was like,
It's close to that.
yeah. And they're saying that it more than likely was because Trump said this is an invalid thing, and I think the people who went there for that are stupid because you're not allowing our democracy to work the way it's supposed to. But that is right there. The Congress people were scared because a large group of people stormed Congress. They should be scared. They work for us. So yeah, like at some point, we all 300 million Americans need to band together and do something together. And I had this idea, and I'm probably going to get shit about it. I say all 300 million Americans don't pay your taxes for 1 year. Accept the late fee. Accept the late fee the IRS is going to put on you for 1 year. Watch how quickly the government implodes. Oh my God! I think
it would. I mean, what are the consequences?
That's two tax payments. Okay,
Sure.
That's your property taxes and your school and property, right? January. Come on, you're a homeowner now. You should know this. I think there's January is property tax, right?
Well,
And then October is school tax. We pay them twice a year. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I know for a fact. I pay taxes twice a year, once in January, once in October, roughly ish. And one is for school taxes, one is for property taxes. If we all, 300 million Americans, at the same time picked 1 year where we didn't pay our taxes for one calendar year, 12 months. I'm not saying don't pay your taxes, just hold them for 12 months. Watch how quickly the government would change. I think they are running on our tax dollars, and I know they're running on our tax
they
dollars.
100% are, yeah.
And if we could ban it, that's the power of the mob. That's the power of the numbers.
So I guess what would you demand? What changes would you want to be implemented?
Accountability, change, a better voting system. I mean, my freaking bank app, right, has the simplest password. It has not asked me to change my password in like 8 years. But my freaking Yoga Body a subscription makes me put in a 16-character password with 3 special characters and asks me to change it every month. Like, I want accountability. Everybody has cell phones now. Every time I log into something, it's 2-step verification. We send a text. Why can't we do that with voting? Why can't you use your photo ID, your driver's license to verify who you are?
Yeah, I agree. Some things seem questionable during the last.
I want
voting.
accountability. Yeah. I want real change.
Yeah, there should be more accountability when it comes to
Yeah,
that. I agree.
I'm
Does it require not paying your taxes? I don't know. Could you get everybody on the same page not to pay their taxes? Probably not.
But that's, how do you know? Unless we talk about it. Unless we, again, the king and queen stayed in power. This is a metaphorical, philosophical thing. Like, throughout the ages, the king and queen stayed in power because the people couldn't band together. But when the king and queen were bad enough that they pissed off enough of the common folk that they all banded together, what happened? Change. I mean, that's essentially what America was. We, as the common folk of America, got pissed off enough that the king in England was trying to tell us what to do. Well, fuck you. You ain't even over here, dude. And he's like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm your king. Pay your taxes. And then all the Americans started talking to each other. Watch The Patriot. They had town hall meetings where like, I'm sick of taxation without representation. Yeah, me too. Well, the king provides us protection. And they talked about it. And then they split into factions. The loyalists and the patriots, or whatever the fuck it was. And they went to war. I mean, don't you think that could happen? Like,
maybe. I mean,
that's what would happen.
I'm not a history buff.
No,
I can't speak too much. To
no,
that,
but that's I'm not trying to. We're going down the rabbit hole on this, but I think that until more of us common people have this conversation, this deep dive, and like, well, why aren't you mad, Matt? Like, why aren't you angry? Do you enjoy paying taxes?
No, I mean, who enjoys paying taxes?
my point exactly. It just, again, maybe I'm a glass 3/4. It's the awesome podcast. I have a lot of energy.
So
that shit pisses me off, and I want to do something about it. I'm just not a person that just doesn't do something about it. So I started a podcast. To bring it full circle, I started a podcast.
Okay, so maybe one day, like I said, there's going to be a rally.
Yeah, I think that's what something, right? And I think the start of it is conversation. That's where I'm at.
Well, you're doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now, bro.
Conversation, getting.
How far are we into this podcast, baby?
2:16.
Woo!
2 hours, 16 minutes.
You feel like talking some more, or you feel good?
I mean, we can chat for a few more minutes.
I want to bring up.
Yeah.
I want to bring up something that you guys asked me about earlier. I couldn't find that quote. That I don't know. I think you made it up.
About
I don't remember, but it made me think the military technology is 10 years advanced to what we have.
Yes.
So we were talking about what we have,
Yep.
and then what the elites might have. But,
yes.
so
I've heard
picture
that. I've heard that my whole life. That like cell phones, the military had them 10 years before the
Exactly.
first cell phone even
So
was
what-
like aware of.
What do they have
you,
now?
You probably
It's
want the
intense.
military to be more
Okay.
advanced, right?
My point is, if the military is 10 years advanced, think about a person that has unlimited funds.
Okay,
What tech do they have? That's crazy. That's creepy.
they probably have some bizarre
Some
shit.
crazy-
They might have the same technology,
They might have
right?
invisibility
they're all in
cloaks
cahoots, right?
and immortal technology. I mean, what could you do
Right,
if
one of
you
these
had
elites, little nudge, wink, wink. Hey, throw that over to me, Mr. Military Man.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
exactly it.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I mean, who's one of the richest guys in the world? I don't remember what it ranks now, but Elon was the richest at one point. He's got a company that brings him to Mars. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you can do with unlimited funds. You can make
And
a company to get your ass to another
That's
planet.
the richest person that we know about. There's definitely people with way more money than Elon Musk that we don't even know about. And if he's got enough money that we publicly know about that he can get to Mars, bro, what if there's people that can get to fucking Pluto or outside of the solar system or are working on vibration tech or working on wormhole tech or working on this or working on that? That's scary. We're fucked. But it's awesome.
The
It's
positivity.
awesome. It's
I love the
awesome.
positivity. I'm going to
Yeah.
walk out of here thinking all types of aliens and sci-fi and all
No,
this.
no,
I'm not
no.
going to be sleeping at night because
No, you're
gonna have some wild
thinking
dreams
about the
tonight.
war. And
All right,
all
so
the-
let's end with part of the podcast. Part of the reason for the podcast is I want people to hear and us
Yeah.
to get comfortable talking about uncomfortable things. The next thing on my list, and we'll end it with this, is religion. What is your religious view?
well, I grew up. My family's Catholic. I'll start off with that.
Okay. A specific type of Catholic or just Catholic in general? I feel like there's a bunch of different types of Catholics.
Catholic.
Just Catholic. Okay.
Catholic. Right? I went to
Like Roman Catholic and
yeah, like Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic.
I went to a Catholic school up until seventh, 8th grade.
Okay.
And so, I went to church and I mean, now I don't practice religion. I don't really think about it much.
Yeah. Do you still consider yourself a Catholic though? Because I grew up Christian and I don't practice now, and I don't consider myself a Christian. But I know a lot of people like that's what they do. Like when your family's one thing, that's what you tell other people you are. And I'm like, but do you do the same things your parents do? Do you read the Bible? Do you do this? Do you do that? Like, so do you still consider yourself a Catholic?
I mean, I'll say I believe there's a higher power.
That's what I believe.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
Yeah,
Catholic.
I believe there's a higher power. Do I believe in just the version of the Catholic version? Do I believe that Jesus was the Son of God?
Yeah.
I haven't. It's not something I think about.
Yeah,
on a daily
well, that's
basis.
the point of the
So,
podcast,
yeah.
man. No, I say that because I feel like a lot of us in the past, I think religion has been. Maybe that's my thing. Like maybe I want the common folk to band together, and that's my thing. Religion is like what people identified with and like what brought them together, right? So the fact that you haven't thought about it that much, like maybe that's a reason you should think about it, because I think religion used to bring people together. What you're describing, that you believe there's a higher power, I call that agnostic.
I don't know. I think after the whole scandal with all the priests and touching little boys and all that, it's kind of hard to think that.
But why would that take away from your belief in Catholicism?
I don't know. I think that maybe that it just undermines the how could God allow something like that to happen? right?
You know who Ben Shapiro is?
In his church. But you're right. You're right. Should that take away from my belief?
Right. You know who Ben Shapiro is?
Yeah, of course.
He made a video that the reason God allows bad things to happen is if he didn't allow bad things to happen, would we really be free? If you don't have the freedom to do bad things, are you really free? If God stepped in and intervened every time something bad or scary happened,
Right.
would we really be free?
True.
No, we wouldn't, because God would always be getting involved in our. The only way for us to truly be free is God does not intervene. Right?
Yeah, right. No
So
control over your actions.
When
or-
you
or
say like,
thoughts.
how could he allow the priest to do that? That's just a very evil human thing to do. What those priests did. I don't think that should take away from somebody's belief in religion or belief in a higher power, and that's why I'm agnostic.
He's testing the faith, right? Just like story,
Correct.
Story of Job, right? He
Right.
had to go through all those trials and like
And my thing
it's
is like
terrible and
the reason I'm agnostic is I think labels is what causes us to fight. You're a Catholic, I'm a Christian, so you're wrong, I'm right. Somebody has to be wrong and somebody has to be right. Whether people want to say like, no, I understand your belief. Like I'm cool with it. You can have your belief.
I mean, a lot of the wars right throughout history were
All of them.
like most recently in Ireland, was it the Protestants and was it the Catholics? They right, like okay, the singer she sings the Zombies, right? Zombie song with their tanks and their bombs. Who is that? No, you guys don't know that.
Oh, I know that song. I just don't know.
White Zombie?
No, it's not White Zombie. I forget her name. But anyways, it was on the wars that were going in Ireland. I guess if you still go there today,
Now?
not now. This was
Like recent
This
history.
is kind of recent.
Recent history.
Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah,
recent.
I would say that all the wars up until recent history have been about religion. Up until like modern times,
Right. Yeah. So they're
they've all been about religion. That's my point. They're all about the labels. But the common thing we all have is a belief in a higher power. But everybody wants to put their label on it. Like, I'm a Christian, so the Muslims are wrong. Well, but they just believe in a higher power just like you do. And they have a set of rules that just like we do. But because they call it, what do the Muslims call their religion?
Islamic.
Islam.
Or-
Just because they call it
yeah.
Islam, and they believe Allah,
Yeah.
they're wrong, I'm right. Or in their case, they're right, I'm wrong. So I love the idea of being agnostic, because if you take away the labels and just realize that there is something bigger and that we should just all respect each other, I think we would not have anything to fight about.
I mean, I'd say I'm probably more agnostic now than
ever.
anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't pick one religion to identify. You would much rather be agnostic.
Yeah. Probably.
See, and me and Sean have talked about this. I think you still need to have like a name so that people can identify. And I used to say that we should eliminate all names, and I'm gonna put you on blast here. Sean calls it AIR, which I think is like one of the best acronyms ever, because we all need AIR. AIR stands for All Inclusive Religions, right? By bringing everybody
Yeah.
together into AIR, which all humans need, right?
Sure.
It's gonna catch, dude. It's like it's one of the greatest I've ever heard.
When I hear, I think
Thank you.
I think of Air Jordan. That's
Oh,
my
there
first
you go.
thought.
Just
But
as good.
But but the AIR thing is like that's being agnostic. Agnosticism, being agnostic. If you believe in AIR, which we all need as human beings, you believe that there's a higher power and that we're all one species. We're all human beings. We're all here together. I respect that there's something bigger and that I should be, respectful to it, and that I shouldn't kill my fellow man and I shouldn't steal or cheat or whatever. I think that's as simple as we can make it, and that's what we should all believe in. We should all believe in AIR because we all need it, and then we have nothing to fight about.
I mean, I think most people can agree like that. There's bad things, right? Like you shouldn't murder,
Right.
cheat, steal. And
I've said this. I think when you do something bad, you can almost feel it. And then I think people would argue, like, what about psychopaths? They don't feel bad about killing people. I don't think they feel bad about it, but I think they know it's
that's
bad.
an outlier. That's just a straw man, right? That they're setting.
Yeah, there's
up,
not
right?
many of those. There's something wrong with their brain. Yeah. Yeah, that's scary.
So were you thinking of the cranberries?
Yeah, the
That's what it
cranberries.
was.
That's it. You found it.
So
yeah.
what the hell is White Zombie then?
White Zombie's that's a
I thought-
band.
I
White
would-
Zombie's a band. The zombie, it's just some
I
lyrics
thought
in
of
the
Rob
song.
Zombie when you said it.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good singer, so yeah, I'm surprised you found that.
He's good.
He's good, man.
He's the new Jamie.
Dude, once I get a second screen here, it's gonna
Oh,
be.
he's gonna be a
it's gonna
machine.
it's gonna
Game
be lit,
over.
huh?
You know what? I hope this is not insulting. You almost have that look, like your backwards hat, and like you're cool
Like he's
dude.
a DJ, man. He's got his
Yeah, he
one
looks
hand,
like-
one hand on the
Oh, he
board
didn't.
here.
He didn't like my hat in the beginning.
No,
But you
I've
can't
grown-
even
it's
see
grown
my
on
face.
me.
It's only my hat.
Yeah, it's true.
It's kind of
But
funny.
you just
looking
have
at
like
this
that.
one.
I feel like a techie has like a look, like a hoodie with a backward, like that's like a techie look, you know, just like your wizard.
I'm gonna
look.
take
like
that
you
as a
look at this
compliment.
guy and
It
you're
is.
like, man, I bet that dude can code like a motherfucker. Shit, I'm just gonna get
Code
the
is
computer and let
code
him
for something more fun.
Can you code?
Fuck no.
All right, we're coming to the end.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything on the top of your head? Because I think this is a fantastic podcast.
I mean, I feel like if I open something else up,
We'll talk
it's gonna.
forever.
Yeah, we're gonna talk.
Did you have a
forever.
good time?
I had a good time.
Was it
Yeah.
as nerve wracking as you thought?
No, not really. I mean, you went off on a little tangent there, and I
did.
learned a bit.
I get a little
and
preachy.
I
I've been
learned-
told. I get a little, but
So I
listen,
just
I'm
sit back and I
passionate.
listen,
I'm
and-
passionate
yeah.
about certain things, and I that's something I was passionate about. I hope in other podcasts, other people get passionate about things because I would love to hear.
I'll probably go home and I'll think about
Good.
what's just some of these topics that we uncovered. Hopefully, I don't have any nightmares, man. Like I said, sci-fi and AI and taking over the world.
that's
and
that's
these-
kind of, but that's my goal. I want.
I feel like it'd be a dope ass movie,
What?
right? Why don't you fucking write a movie
about
you know?
AI.
It's like a
Take it. Terminator?
screenplay.
You mean Terminator?
Well-
it exists.
Yeah, right. There's probably a ton of different, right? The Matrix and
yeah. Oh god.
all the rest.
It's all scary. It's all super scary. But all right, my
All right,
man.
let's wrap it up.
Guest number 6,
Yeah.
Matt Fowler. Thank you very much.
Peace. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's so good.